All right, well, we are going to see Cloud9 versus Nihilum here. Nihilum, again, they kind of stumbled a little bit. I think they actually stumbled a little bit last week. If I remember correctly, they had to replace life coach for Lothar,
Yeah,
and
versus
overall
Temple Storm.
things just didn't work out too well for them. But going into last week, Nihilum was, I think, decisively at the top of the scoreboard. So now they're in a tied position with the other, at the start of today, other three teams. Now we know that Valley Town is ahead. So this match will essentially dictate who the second team to advance will be. The match differential will dictate which team gets placed first versus second. But after the brutal slaying of Tempo Storm, which we just witnessed, the team to win here is going to have to win even more decisively than that to take the spot over Value Town.
That's going to be really rough. And I'd like to point out something that I'm pretty sure Frodan noticed as well, since we talked about it last time we were casting together, is Druids are being played by Colento and RDU, and that class is not exactly known for its good performance in ATLC so far. I've got to be... I'm really curious what the reasoning is behind bringing the class. Like, you don't see Hunter on the Nihilum side, for instance.
It's not a good class, though.
Hunter? Who are we kidding?
Face. I think you're missing a Lenny face after that statement.
Yeah, but we have seen a decent amount of Druid. It hasn't been particularly good. We actually mentioned, I think, last week how the only player that had a positive win rate with Druid in the tournament was Theiss, and now we actually see Theiss pass Druid along to RDU, which is a little bit of a strange occurrence. Though with Druid, it's been a very popular class that teams have opened up with. I think Grim Patron Warrior and Druid, just off of random thoughts from what I've seen so far. Maybe it's not statistically accurate, but it seems those two decks have led the charge more times than not, from my memory at least.
Yeah, it's the same adage as people used to follow. The fact that Druid is capable of beating a lot of decks. It doesn't have too many god-awful matchups. There's a few of them that exist that we've seen. For example, the Mech Shaman is one really bad one. Or I was actually messaged by Hype that it was a Mech Mage that was in the previous series. Unfortunately, didn't get to play it. So those are the matchups that Druid would be afraid of. But outside of that, even Patron Warrior, something that people thought was bad for the Druid, it's not so poor actually. Now that you know how to play against it, people tech in the weapon hate, and Druid still has a lot of capability of pressuring. So I would like a Druid opener out of Nihilum. But they also have brought life coaches Patron Warrior to the front. And that'd be an interesting dynamic if both teams once again decide to try to jump the patrons, and as a result bring a weird matchup because they're both trying to ambush each other.
Yeah. What do you think the reasoning is for not bringing Hunter at all from Nihilum? Like, what's the idea? Okay, so now that that's out of the way, what about Druid is better? Do they have a better beast archetype? Is that it?
Oh, they will. Maybe
in GGG, yeah. Savage Combatant.
Yeah.
The Darnasius Assailant. That's what I'm doing, actually.
I think it's a Darnassus.
Darnassus Aspirant?
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you need to play more WoW, man. Yeah.
I'm going to do flashcards. It's like I'm studying for the SATs.
During casting, you're just going to have to cast like Crits Arena runs. You'll be good to go.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, it is very weird that we don't see Hunter. I feel like I've seen this from a team lineup before in ATLC. But from what I remember, that team did not win that week. So maybe there's some correlation.
Okay. Well,
you know, I'm going to have to ask RDU eventually how the name of their team is pronounced, because I say Nihilum since it's from Latin, but everybody else says
Nihilum,
something else.
I think.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it, because I get the feeling it's from like the Latin Nihilum, but I keep getting messed up every time. Anyway, first game, Mage versus Rogue.
Smart.
So what do you think Strivecrow is going to be taking here, honestly? Like, what type of mage?
Mage most of the weeks. I think he brought like a grinder mage on like week 3 or 4, and it really failed to produce much in the way of results. So I think he's got back to freeze mage after that. And overall, I think Strifecross Freeze Mage has had an acceptable performance in the tournament.
I would assume so. I think Freeze Mage has had a pretty decent win rate in the ATLC. We do know for sure that Druids had the worst win rate in ATLC, clocking in at sub 40%, which is not really unexpected, but at the same time,
Right.
pretty bad. It's like no other deck is in that range. Everything else is at least mid 40s and above.
Yeah,
Even
but if
Priest.
both teams bring the Druid, then I think it comes down to whoever wins first with their Druid and gets it out of the way.
Sure.
Because then it's eaten up all the wins that a Druid can possibly get, right?
At the same time, I think didn't Hunter have the highest win rate? In,
Yeah, like
Yes,
60%,
I believe so.
like maybe a little under 60 or 60, like about 60% so far.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy.
It's a good class.
Yeah, Rogue is above 50% win rate. As much as people like to question Rogue choice, it's been pretty decent. Although it is a much smaller sample size for classes like Druid and Priest compared to like Hunter, which has been played a lot, Warrior, which has been played pretty much every series, right? I think I'd be surprised if there was one series that didn't have Warrior, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think you're right. Whoa!
Yeah, looks like a Fairy Reaver.
Whoa!
Looks like a Mech Mage from Strifecrow right here. Not exactly what I expected, but hey.
That's
Um,
not even what I expect from Mech Mage. I don't think I don't even know if I've ever seen Fel Reaver and Mech Mage outside of like that one time I played against this Mech Mage at rank 18, like last
Well,
year or something.
it migrated from the Mech Shaman into the
Right.
Mech Mage. That's what happened.
It started
Okay.
getting to the point where you don't want to play secrets sometimes. It's a little clunky, and you ditch Mad Scientist, you ditch the what's it called, the Mirror
The
Entity,
entity, yeah.
and then you just have big tempo plays like the Fel Reaver, and it turns out you kill him just as fast, if not faster. And we've seen this deck be popularized in China about 3 weeks ago, and then we started seeing some players stream it. I think Reynad and Eloise were streaming it because I think Eloise's former teammate. That's how we introduced it within the team. Her former teammate is the one who took it to #1, and then Strife Coast got it from Nimsh, and Strife Coast started practicing with it. So this is cool. It's
Whoa.
very, very powerful, Crip.
Okay. Well, Strifecrow is agonizing over the Cogmaster versus the Manowyrm. The Cogmaster leads into a follow-up with the Noyatron, which would normally punish a deadly poison play. But against Backstab, this is the weaker play. So Strifecrow took a bit of a gamble, and he lost.
He's still got a really good curve either way, because you go Noatron into turn 3 Mana Worm unstable, which just for that reason I think the play was better, because your turn 3 is also secured by your hand.
Sure.
So
Well, I don't know. Like the Noyatron doesn't really apply that much pressure, and you could just play it anyway.
I think it's the fact that it kind of warrants a response. So like he's gonna have to hero power and hit that thing down if he just like. And now he has the Mana Worm protected from like deadly poison if it gets. It would need like backstab SI7 agent in order to clear it. So I think it's okay.
Okay.
No Chugger's a pretty good draw too. Keep the rogue weapon frozen for a while.
yeah, what do you think RDU's reaction is going to be to that? Because you kind of have to answer it as soon as you can. It's a pretty big threat. There's a really good like array of plays that can be made from RDU just because of that Vial Teacher and the prep and eviscerate. Like the amount of plays that he has here are pretty crazy. Assuming he just doesn't want to go for
He can do a
ESL.
prep eviscerate on the 2/3 and SI into the taunt creature.
Yeah, but do you prefer to play Vial Teacher instead and spawn like 2/1/1s?
That's true. Coin Vial Teacher and prep eviscerate on the 2/3.
It seems better because you get the 1/1s out, and that helps you fight. So that way,
Yeah.
Blade Flurry is more effective, or if you pick a Fan of Knives.
Everything is better with a bunch of 1/1s, right?
Right, and then the challenge on the other end is if the Vial Teacher was just out there with no 1/1s, and Fireball would be fantastic. As such, Fireball's still really good here.
Yeah, but the thing is, if this play gets punished, you're just kind of out of it.
Yeah,
And
you've
this
kinda
play-
lost the game.
This play is going to get punished.
Unfortunately,
this has already been like a very
Sorry.
punishing game for both players.
Unstable Portal, though, I mean, that's you never really truly count someone out until all the cards have been played, especially with a mage that has Unstable.
And then
I
you're going
never
to see a new deck with Unstable Portal Spell Slinger that's heavily competitive, and that's going to be the end of competitive Hearthstone as we know it.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's almost exactly going to happen. We'll see. We'll see. I know firsthand, man. You weren't there, were you? When the person got Flame
Everyone
Strike
saw
off
it.
of Spellslinger?
Yeah.
No one saw that. Nobody saw that.
Right.
Everyone saw it. It's in like Trollden highlights now. Yep. Your star, Frodan, your star.
Thank you.
Not the star you want to be, but your
Alright.
star nonetheless.
Well, this is probably just a weak sauce Blade Flurry play.
It's not that weak
What are you talking
sauce.
about?
It's
The
fine, right?
consecration for 2 mana.
Yeah, dude. And you keep the card draw from Blood Mage. It's sick.
Yeah.
Tripp's
Yeah,
not
it dropped
convinced,
pretty well,
Frodan.
though.
You have high standards nowadays.
Yeah.
You
No,
really
I mean,
raise your expectations.
it's obviously the play. It's just it doesn't feel good, man. Like you're playing a deck with so much weapon pump, and you got a Blade Flurry for 2. Oh man.
It's not even like a baseline 2. It's not really the Blood Mage Thalnos 2. It's not an Auto Barber 2, right? It's just
Sure,
Exactly.
Blood Mage enabling it. Yeah, I could see that, but... So what does he want out of that Unstable Portal? Tinkertown Technician, I guess?
I don't know if he's playing.
Or do you
this
just
turn.
go pinging? Like, you just go ahead and ping, because your turn 6 will be Mech Unstable Ping. Or the other way around.
Maybe the
Well-
Blast Mage would be really good because he has mechs in hand, and then Blast
Mm.
Mage would be
Yeah, playable with the
mana?
Mech Warper. It would be 1,
Next turn.
actually.
would be
Well-
one. Oh, right, because they reduced
A
the
Fell Reaver would also be playable with the Mech Warper.
Ha! Yeah, that's
That'd be
right.
hell. Well, he's definitely not going for Unstable, because he would have played first, so...
Right. This play, I think, just leads into the ping because you don't want to do a Mech Warper either.
Now, one thing that's
Oh, that's surprising.
well, he doesn't want to get the spell power. So if he had Fan of Knives or something, but I think you want your opponent to force himself into the draw.
Exactly.
Backstab trade, yeah, sure.
I absolutely Van Cleef, look at that. I absolutely prefer to kill the minion that doesn't draw a card when the options are fairly limited once your
Yeah.
hand size is so low. That's exactly what's going to happen. RDU initiates the trade.
And RDU
Wow!
Look at that.
Wow!
He's got the oil.
Unstable, that Blingtron, ladies and gents. Unstable it.
No, unstable the Harrison
Harrison-
Jones. Screw the
Harrison's probably more
Blingtron.
devastating.
Well, Blingtron's cooler.
Let's do it. Oh wait, well
I
you can't have-
agree. I agree. Blingtron is cooler.
Blingtron is pretty cool, especially because if you give him Light's Justice and you have something really
No,
man,
that's just
like, going
fine.
on.
You can oil it up.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
You can fill up. Even better Assassin's Blade.
Yeah, this will get the quote mined, by the way. You guys like to oil up. I just want to point it out. You have messed up really badly. So, Unstable is still going to wait until he's completely out of options, and I can't fold him. Is it me or the spectator mode is showing that a lot of options can be used, it can't be used, and it's been doing that at...
Yeah, like
Throughout
if
the
your
matches.
it's usable, but it's not exactly. But
Mhm.
that's pretty
Maybe it's
easy
just
to tell.
maybe it's just Blizzard raising the skill cap. They don't highlight an orange. They highlight everything. In
Oh,
green.
wow. The caster... the caster...
It's my favorite meme nowadays. They're just like make everything orange highlighted. It's cool.
Well,
Yeah.
we're at a pretty interesting stage in the game where all of RDU's options are pretty horrible. He's still like doing fine in terms of the game overall, but there's a real opportunity for him to get completely tempoed out of this game. So it looks like he's just going to play just the tempo 4/4 on the Cleef and just get that SI on the board.
Yeah, I don't think he's in that bad of a spot. You know, one fireball's out of the way. One of those cards is a spare part. So usually he's going to be fine, especially since he's sprinting next turn. It's very unlikely the mage has any card draw that's going to compete with that. But we'll have to see.
Exactly right. I mean, if he does have to sprint for full mana and he doesn't really do anything with the board, he's just going to be behind a lot. Like, Strifer has the tempo freeze here on the Van Cleef. If he gets a good outcome from his portal and RDU blanks out on his sprint. I think the tempo might just be too much from the Mage.
Oh.
Holy cow!
That's interesting.
That's a big minion.
I mean, it's the fact that Rogue has trouble dealing with big minions. It's not even necessarily the battle cry because there's only a few damage points. But look at the threat that it's going to be following up with. Not to mention that even if RDU drew sap or some way to return it, then Striker would just replay it for normal mana, so you don't even regain, or you don't even lose too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's really clunky. Like, it's a really powerful card, but it's in a really bad spot. He can't play it this turn, and the Striker really just wanted something that he could play this turn.
It's still okay, I think, ultimately, because the Frostbolt ping leaves you with a 4-1, and if the Rogue face tanks it, that's like the worst that could happen, because then you kind of waste some damage on Alex. But you're still ahead by a pretty big shot.
It's true, but I think your win condition was just to tempo out the Rogue in the spot, and he's not going to be able to do that.
Well, if you tempo her out, though, you kind of like if you opt for the emergency coolant and the frostbolt and you attack for 4, you effectively waste the damage that Alex would have done. Like you're kind of doing the same damage twice.
Mm-hmm.
You know what would have been better than Alex Straza?
Archmage?
North Sea Kraken.
What if they had messed it up and Unstable Portal could actually spawn TGT cards?
That'd be cool.
That'd be insane.
Am I right or wrong? Huh?
You're super right.
I think I'd prefer Alistraza over the North Sea Kraken now.
But Frodan likes the animation.
I guess
the animation is
sick. The North Sea Kraken is
it's like water gun.
Oh my god! Whoa!
That's a good top deck.
RD's like, well, I guess I could kill that now.
Yeah.
I was losing. Now I'm not losing.
Well, he could.
But look how much damage that is.
Now it's.
No, I think you actually just. Do you take the loss to Fireball? Do you play like Lotheb and go face with the weapon here? How much damage is it next turn with Deadly Poison, Oil, and Blade Flurry? That's an insane amount of damage.
Yeah, so the weapon will be 8, so it's 16.
Your opponent will be at 24. You'll have the Lotheb plus.
I mean, you could still win the tempo game, right? If you decide to kill Alex, you still win the tempo game. So is there even a reason to not kill her? Because I get it, right? Like, it's fancier to try to just wait for that crazy burst. But if it doesn't pan out, then you just basically lose on the back of that.
I think RDU couldn't really spot a legitimate 2-turn lethal, so he opted to go for this. Oh boy, Mech time.
Oh, that could be insane. And the tempo's still on the Mage's side, funny enough.
Yeah.
That Anoyotron is changing things quite a bit.
Oh!
Nice job! Nice job, Blast Mage.
Well done.
Who needs that coolant when you can just Blast Mage?
Oh, that coolant is gonna. Oh wow, heal bot.
But still, you see, this is the exact same thing as we spoke of earlier. Do you play around Fireball? In this case, since you know what that card is, which is a spare part, you don't.
Yeah, you know it's a spare part.
Unless the spare part can generate fireballs through Antonitis, that's not really of a threat.
Oh no, it's.
Yeah.
You could sap and just play Lotheb Healbot next turn.
Sap what?
The 5-4.
Blast Mage?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just does 4 damage when he replays it, and most likely Strike will be able to play that as well as the draw, so it really does nothing.
It doesn't protect against Frostbolt either. But so the question is, do you like 4 split among 2 targets, or do you like 5 to your face? Because that's exactly where that damage is going.
The funny thing is, if his opponent had the rewind anyways,
oh my god!
Be like, what if he gave him lethal based off of that sap damage? Like he attacks the face, returns it, and then does it again. It'd be really
cool. Oh man, this is a nightmare for RDU.
It's still one that will continue though.
Yeah, he's got antique heal bot.
So that's a pretty sick card in this case.
Okay.
Unreal.
I like it.
Yeah. Pretty sure RDU likes it too. It's a pretty good top deck in this situation. I think you have to throw the sap on the 5-4 now, though.
Yeah, it's actually much less effective unless his opponent trades onto the board. But
then you're kind of happy, I guess.
Well, if he does, then he's not doing damage to your face.
Yeah. That prep was really clutch. It didn't get, like, he wasn't dead on board, but there's always a chance, and that, from RDU's perspective, is what could seal the game. Unless he plays super greedy.
Hey.
He's at the Frostbolt,
Neutron. Super greedy.
He's like, you know what? I don't even need to go through that Divine Shield.
Oh, yeah, if you stab the Neutron, you can kill
the 2-1, yeah.
Yeah, and then he won't be able to play his spare part, most likely, so...
That's a pretty legitimate play, but it still makes you pretty weak to stuff. Ooh, the greedy play.
Alright.
What is he looking for? He's looking for the stealth part,
Time
right?
rewinder, so he can replay the
He's looking for freeze, I think. Because freeze just stops him from dying, basically. With, like, anything.
Oh, right. Also because it's low depth, so he couldn't replay.
He could still get another spare part if he wants it, while killing the heal bot. The thing is, if he does that, then he loses 2 minions to it, and then only has the opportunity to play 1 spare part for 6. Which is pretty costly.
It's also nice to just go for face here, because you open up lethal with just another Frostbolt.
Yeah, and you know everything you have is going to die, so you're going to see that spare part from the Clockwork. Oh, either you're dead or your board's dead. Pick one.
I think you are dead, aren't you? With the sap.
Sap plus prep oil, I think. He's gonna, like,
plus 6. So he's got 12 plus 6. Okay.
We got 2 Eviscerates, though, right?
He's 1 off. He's 1 off, right?
Oh, he might have the 1 Eviscerate left, because he used 1 earlier. Oh.
I believe he is 1 damage off lethal here.
Actually, maybe not. Maybe he's got it with the double oil. But what if it hits the Drake?
No, it's bad if it hits the new Drake, but I think it's okay otherwise.
Okay, so he's gonna go for the trading play. Okay, you know, I like that. It's actually super safe, but that means there's like 3 outs in Strife Crow's deck left, right? Well, 2. He's used up 1 Frostbolt, so. Oh man.
Did he have lethal there? Like, what's the percentage he had lethal?
See,
so his weapon would have been
let's
7.
assume it hits all 1 Drake, so it's he had 5, 4, 9 plus 2 oils. That's 15 plus.
It had to hit 2 creatures that were relevant.
Right, so 50% chance.
And ideally not the heal bot, because you want to use that one to pop the Tron. So.
No, it's okay.
Actually, it's only 50% chance 1 time, right?
Yeah.
Because the weapon gains damage, so you would have been fine either way. It just had to hit not the heal bot or the Drake. Okay.
That's the worst outcome, but...
We can use confirmation bias to say that already did.
Oh my god, he's gonna be so close to getting the win, but it's not gonna be enough. Oh well.
Yeah.
He had 2 freezes. Anything he can do.
He will have the fireball at least at the end of the turn, right?
Yeah, but so what?
Well, he can console himself.
Ice block or something. That was the only way you could win, but there's no way.
This is where you spell sling and get the lethal.
Actually, spell slinger to get a few points of damage is pretty reasonable. You could even like spell slinger a polymorph boar off her face.
Ooh.
Oh, the big plays.
I like it.
I like that play.
Polymorph boar on the spell slinger. That's pretty awesome.
I think spell slinger might see play in the Mech Mage, or just in a tempo-based Mage deck.
Yeah, I think so too. You play it with Lore Walker Cho to get the spell back, and with Lothar, of course, to deny the spell use.
Okay, yeah, Strifer concedes. He actually took quite some time there. There's definitely nothing he could do, and his opponent had lethal on the board. So Nihilum gets first blood. There we go. RDU out of the gate, taking the win with Rogue. Rogue's been a pretty popular opener today, at least.
Yeah, with Dog.
Worked for RDU, did not work for Dog.
I'm a little confused though, because I think the graphics showed that RDU was playing Mage and Druid, but he ended up bringing out the Rogue. So I think we're gonna have to correct.
Oh, okay. Well, that probably makes some sense. That's why I was a little bit confused too, because Thice has almost always been the Druid player, right?
Right. And he's also a fantastic freeze mage player too. So I think the Druid and Mage belong to Tice, and RDU is the Paladin and the.
Yeah, he has been the Paladin. I think maybe even every week actually.
Right, and he's also played Rogue a lot too. It's his, I think it's his favorite class. That and Hunter are his two favorites.
Yeah. Life Coach is playing Warlock and, Warrior. Surprise.
Again.
I wonder when we'll see him switch to something else, because maybe a deck will come up eventually that he'll just stick to that isn't actually restricted to those two classes. But so far, they seem to fit his playstyle very nicely. So
Yeah,
It's
I
a
mean,
good point.
why mix it up if your team has been #1 or tied for #1 through the entire season?
Right. And
without
I
an
think,
analyst,
I think Crip brought up a really good point that there's some teams that are rather predictable, but they're very strong, and then you have teams that can bring almost anything and mix it up all the time. And I think these are two teams that actually represent that, right? Kalento, Strifecrow, ECOP, they're very versatile players, and it's not that Nihilum isn't very flexible. It's the fact that they prefer to stick with these decks because they're so good at them. It's why they like, making it iconic to them. So it's pretty cool. I think it's a little bit of old school and new school. New school Hearthstone players are ones that can play literally anything, and they have to be very dynamic because of the way Conquest is. But back in the day, Hearthstone, people used to really favor one kind of deck, and they'd be bringing it all the time. So I like this clash of style.
Yeah, it's certainly quite interesting. Now, what can we expect in the next game here? Basically
ECOP
anything.
pull out the Hunter. I wouldn't be surprised to see ECOP. Number one, I guess you want Strifecrow out of the way. You don't want to bench him this early. Although some people have done the exact opposite and just queue the same person twice. But I expected the Hunter from ECOP. But I guess Warlock's got a generally good matchup against everything either way. It really depends on the archetype that he's got. How good or bad is this for Thijs, though? Druid against Warlock. We're going to look at this from the Druid perspective because that's the class that I think has to find the good matchup, as opposed to the Warlock, which can probably smash itself into a random pit of classes and come out on average ahead. Sure, it'll depend on the archetype.
Absolutely has had some great success with Druid. We're talking about how Druid has. I didn't actually know that it had the worst win rate in the tournament. I thought it was just one of the worst, but confirmed by Frodan. And I think we also learned that last week. Thijs was sporting a positive win rate with the Druid, and he may have been the only player with that.
He's a true master of duels, as far as I'm concerned. Having the highest win rate with the worst class, at least the worst performing class.
Yeah. So here we see Thijs masterfully getting the Innervate, but not, unfortunately for him, finding the Wild Growth. So that's a bit of an issue. The Zoohen isn't looking too quick, at least. That's not going to punish Thijs too much.
Yeah. ECOP had Egg and Defender and a few other options, but he opted to go just quicker and ends up getting punished for it because he doesn't really have a good curve at all until maybe... No, he doesn't have a good curve at all.
Yeah, there's no point at which this curve suddenly becomes good unless you top deck a 2-drop.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe he gets 2-drop and then he has Implosion plays, but I was thinking that Druid doesn't have anything to do, so...
Yeah, what are you going to implode?
Dead. Usually you can implode your Egg, but that's usually a very risky play because then swipe.
Yeah. Well, Thijs certainly thought about it. He wanted to attack the 1-3, but chose not to in the end. There's certainly some argument to attack if you can maybe Force of Nature if you're required to, maybe on turn 4 if you have a really good fit one. But probably thinks there's going to be a better opportunity for Force of Nature. And in that case, you don't really want to take an additional damage.
Yeah, that one damage does end up mattering a lot.
ECOP's going to start playing, I guess, on turn 7.
Well, he's got this.
Yeah.
He's gonna slam Dugard with a coin on turn 4. What are you talking about?
Yeah, lose all that Doctor Boom value. Discard 2 Boom Bots. No, never.
What's funny is that this hand becomes really good if he just picks up Void Caller. Because Void Caller, then you have Lothad and Coin Boom, and then, oh my gosh, Druid just dies. That type of thing.
No, I think this might be a game where just the Warlock's going to die from like 30 health, because we're going to have 2 Shades that are going to grow. The Warlock has no cards that kills these Shades out of stealth. None. Absolutely none. So ECOP basically can't tap. I don't even know if he can play the Flame Imp when he's looking at that board, because he basically has to race down Thijs
I think you
Yeah.
severely underestimate the power of Knife Juggler and Implosions, Crip.
Okay.
I've been on the receiving end a
Right.
few times of a Knife Juggler just juggling 4 times on my shit.
Oh man, yeah, Frodo.
What
I think
about
this is a
you?
good place for you to voice your experience. We're here to listen to you. Tell us about
I've
your
had my
trauma
fair
with the
share.
Zoom.
Yeah, and at
Uh,
that point, I'm really glad the concede button works instantly because now I know.
Yeah, it actually works instantly now, right? I can lose even faster. It's
I
good.
actually think there's some argument to implosion your own egg here.
I think it's great. Force a
I
swipe.
think it's better than power overwhelm on your own egg.
Well, you definitely want a Lotheb coin boom, right? That's the
Mhm.
No, no,
The
no, no.
dream.
I think you actually don't want to play Lotheb because with double shade, the only way you're going to lose is turn 9. It's just going to totally destroy you regardless of what you're playing.
that's so far out though.
No, I think you're both talking about different plays. You're both advocating for the implosion of your own egg, and Frodo was saying you want to go turn 6, turn 5 Lotheb, turn 6 Doctor Boom. So you were both
yeah,
kind of
you're
agreeing
saying
there.
that you
the
don't want to
situation right now. If it hits turn 7, Ecop might just die.
Yeah, that is a possibility.
Yeah, it's
turn 7. The shades will be. Well, hold on. He has to get through the Void Walker first, right? So Ty should actually hero power this 1/3.
Yeah, Tess might consider that
right.
now.
If he doesn't do it, but if he does it, it's gonna give his opponent somewhat of a tell, I guess.
Well, next turn he might do like a Wrath for 1 and then hero power into the Void Caller again.
Yeah.
And then the shade will be a 6/6 and a 5/5, so that's 11 plus the 13 or plus the
14, yeah.
14 damage
Mhm.
plus the 4.
So it's GG, yeah.
So that's 29 damage.
Yep, called it. Game.
Well, I mean, Defender of Argus can just ruin everything, but
Yeah. He has to find
you're
it
right
first.
for now. For next 2 turns, it seems like there's nothing. Tight just passes.
And Ecop picks up the not defensive Argus.
Oh, there is another possibility if Ecop senses this and then
Void Caller.
Yeah, Void Caller, and then Mal'Ganis pops out.
Ecop's thinking of racing. I actually think he will lose the race. If I'm not mistaken.
He's gonna be taking, unless another powerwhelming stop deck with like life tap abusive. I think he's losing the race, unless the egg comes in to help. But that would have to be done like.
Oh!
That is
my
really, really
Need
bad.
the power of overwhelming to race.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still
As I said, he could do it next turn, but now that the PO is gone, it's looking a little grim. Oh my
Whoa!
God! What on earth?
take
Yes!
the Doomguard. Take it.
Yes!
Take
Oh,
the
it's so
Doomguard.
beautiful.
Wrath the 1/3. Kill Lotheb.
Trip. What is your like? I like to watch people be
Even if it
miserable
takes the egg,
factor
it's
at right now.
Oh, he baited me so hard.
Oh, you saw something in the middle move, right? And then you were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's got to be the Doomguard."
Yeah.
You were wrong.
Yeah, but like
This is
next turn it's over. Like now, even if you get Argus, can you even stay alive? That's the question.
Yeah, that's a good point.
By the way, Lothar is confirming that it is Nihilum, so
Oh, is it Nihilum?
I had to ask him. He knows better than I do.
I thought-
Lothar also confirmed that this game is over next turn.
Yeah, I think
Him.
Crip confirmed that like on turn 2. Crip was like, "Oh, this is over already. Double shade." That was magnificent.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he's got so many minions on board. He's not anticipating a Shadow Flame, but I don't see a reason to feel like he needs to attack either. Okay. Either way, rather inconsequential in the.
Oh!
Oh!
There it is!
Are you
Maybe
too late?
good enough. Is it?
You
Yeah.
can silence the shade, I guess.
Yeah, with the
Yes,
owl
silence the
because the shades came out. Maybe it's good enough.
No, I don't think so. Like with 4 minions on the board, you're gonna have 3 left over, right? And 3 little trees.
It's optimistic. So if he
It's
kills
over.
off Lotheb, that's gonna have 3 health remaining on a taunt, and then 3 health remaining.
On the egg. Yeah, you're not thinking enough of that.
13. Yeah, it's
But
enough still. It's enough still.
Okay.
for sure.
The other minion, the other shade, I think takes the lethal.
Yeah, it'll actually be enough by like 6 or 7 damage overkill.
I like how Ecop really suspects there's some really nasty stuff coming.
Yeah, so he knows what's coming based
Yeah.
off the way everything's happened.
It's like he
turn
didn't
set.
play anything for like 5 turns, and now the shade stayed stealth.
Right.
Oh, okay, goodbye.
Well,
Nice knowing you.
yeah. I mean, either way, there seemed to be multiple damage overkill, and
You
that
can even hero power on top.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's the top deck
The
innervate there.
interface.
yeah. Oh man,
I hope Ecop saw
that's
it.
brutal.
Brutal. It is so brutal.
It's a good point that he can hero power as well. Because say he was like a little damage under, that would have helped get past the 3.
Exactly, the 3 health Doomguard we spoke of a little earlier. Well,
There you
Man, that MC tech. I mean, it made the difference, really. I thought he'd win anyway, just because Ecop. I don't think he could afford to tap. The shade's just getting really insane. He knew he didn't have an answer, so he really had to just draw into Argus. He did draw into Argus, but he lost the big health body because of the MC tech, right?
yeah. So that was not enough to, like, it wouldn't have been enough to keep him alive. And the worst part is, because of the Lotheb, you then have to trade into it with your Doomguard, weakening your taunt line even further. So it's like, yeah, double whammy there for Thijs. Well, that's, Thijs is really, it's kind of weird how everybody fails at winning with Druid in this league so far, except Thijs. I don't understand this.
MC
Like, his
tech,
win rate
tech.
with Druid is like 70%, I think. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty good stuff. I think, these days people see Thijs as a pretty good Druid player, one of the best, but he's been in that seat for
A while.
I think
Yeah.
forever. I think he
Right.
actually had his big tournament debuts on the back of extremely good Druid performances a year ago plus. So yeah, he's still at it.
That's right. Nice shout out there by Nemox7, by the way, saying that Nihilum's pretty bold for not bringing Hunter. They're the first team to do so. And I would have, I mean, if there's 2 classes that I would have predicted all the way through, ATLC would have been Hunter and Warrior.
Right.
And Warrior does end up making the cut, but not the Hunter. Very fascinated by this. And I feel like it has to, again, go based off of style. I think Thijs is like, I want to play Druid, I want to play Freeze Mage. Life Coach is like, I want to play Warrior or Patient Warrior, and I want to play Handlock. So RDU, you can play whatever you want. And I think this week RDU was feeling the Paladin, the Rogue. Because he's the one bringing Hunter usually.
Yeah. What if it's a different form of style? They're like, yeah, we lost last week, but we're the best, so we got to prove it. We'll just drop Hunter from our league and beat up.
Oh, sick. I say why stop there? It's like Life Coach brings Priest and Shaman.
And then see Paladin, Druid, Rogue, and it's gonna be like the backspace Rogue, of course. You gotta have all the style
6
points.
Priest lists. That's what they do.
Yeah, and then they get everything eliminated except that one list that has to win 6 times. Oh man.
The funny thing is, if you could actually bring 6 priests, you would probably be favored. I think it's actually a strength to be able to bring the same type of deck more than once. If you brought 6 Deathlord anti-aggro priests, I don't think you would ever lose.
Right? Because
you're right. Oh, what if the opponents always they always bring an equality paladin, right?
Well, they'd have to bring 6 equality paladins.
I guess. I guess you can make the argument for almost any deck. If you bring 6 of one deck, the deck will be good at least against one specific type of deck.
Yeah. I think at 6 you're kind of breaking the whole
6 Patron Warriors, right?
Oh man, that's hell. Welcome to hell.
You should be able to do that. That's everyone get in here,
Oh, Chris, you got a next challenge stone thing. You have 3 of the same deck. That's it.
Yeah.
How's that sound?
Bring 3 decks of the same kind of deck.
Yeah. The fake Highlander.
All right. Well, Ecop gonna try again here. He has the chance to get benched. Often we've seen teams just intentionally play out the player that can be benched just because it's less likely that he would be coming out and may otherwise get a pretty nice matchup.
Yeah.
And maybe that is the case. Hunter versus Warlock. Just the classes on their own often does favor the Hunter.
Yeah, you don't get the Moltons early. Usually it's a pretty rough ride. And I don't know if Life Coach will be expecting such an aggressive start from ECOP. Like, such an aggressive deck. Based on what we're looking at here, it could just be a full-on aggro.
Mm-hmm.
He might, though. I feel like Hybrid Hunter is really starting to grow a lot in popularity. It's fast enough to pressure the patrons. It's slow enough to help you handle aggro sometimes while being able to race them. It just hits the right pocket of the metagame right now. And I think it's definitely better than Face Hunter at dealing with handlock. You still have those high mains. You still have the ability to drop threats and hold on to damage, as opposed to the aggressive Face Hunter. You have to always be pushing damage every single turn, otherwise you don't have enough to end the game.
Yeah, you throw it in and you hope it sticks. Where, like, you deal 1 damage once, whereas the high main has, like, recurring damage potential, right?
Yes.
On a completely different topic, I
Go.
have to say I think Life Coach is in extremely good form. He's looking like a mad professor right now of Hearthstone. Like,
He'll show them all
to that frame. You know,
Yeah.
he's on point right now.
Right. I
Everything
feel
is
like
going
they
his
squeeze his webcam a little bit because it's looking a little caricature like, right?
It is.
It's
awesome.
very drawn out. Looks like someone's holding. There's an invisible hand holding Life Coach by the top of the hair, and he's just kind of dragging down.
That reminds me of Super Smash Brothers 64.
Yeah, the master.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, ECOP
Speaking of
is
mad
running
scientists.
cards, yeah.
Yeah, actually, Mad Scientist, you just kind of separate. You just part Life Coach's hair to the side.
Oh, that's what it was all along. Oh my god, Life Coach's hand is so
Like
much
the
better than it was
Black
a second
Sea.
ago.
Is it? He's gonna
I thought
start
it
the
was
game with,
hopeless,
10
but
life.
the heal bot, like, he can tap if he wants to, be really at risk, and then drop Mountain on 4, and then maybe get even.
That's too greedy, I think.
So
What you
did
do
you-
by tapping is take double damage from this. You're not only taking the damage from the 4 on board, but you're gonna play Mountain Giant and take 4 again. Oh, that's so greedy.
But what was the option? Dropping Sun Fury on its own, I guess.
Sunfury can challenge the board, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Offer.
he has 2 of them too.
Yeah, this is Huffer, by the way.
Easy. Oh, whoa. Why does
Ooh,
that have
wrong.
to have 2 more health?
Yeah, I don't know what's up. And it doesn't charge. Why is it wearing a shield?
That's a mama huffer. You know, protects the young cubs.
But the
and
thing is, how much of your own
leave
mama
some.
is worth your opponent's mana?
Oh, man. You're going to start
Well,
at such
it's
a low
actually,
life here.
It's actually okay considering that there's Moltons, right?
Yeah.
So many
Again, the whole point is threatening
possibilities.
damage. So
Mm-hmm. Oh, here comes the Mountain Giant. It seems like a little bit too little too late, but we'll see. ECOP's hand is so aggressive, he might just go all in here. I think there's actually a possibility of that. The most damage you can push out, I think, is with Glaive Zuka, Abusive, and then coining a Hero Power.
Yeah, or quick shot if you want to. If you want to go like full on this turn damage, of course over multiple turns the hero power is better. But yeah, like, there's a really good argument to do so, because if your opponent didn't get the taunts, then you're gonna race ahead. My question is, without any phase reach, because right now if he's getting taunted up into a Mountain Molten, he doesn't have any kill commands, right? He's got a quick shot and that's all nice, but it's not enough to seal the game just yet. And that gives your handlock opponent the ability to just come back. And I mean, he could even push your face in like 2 giant hits and then heal bot on the back end.
The thing is, like, if he heal bots, though, he can't taunt. So if you can do, like, a crazy amount of damage, it's often acceptable, too.
Yeah, well, the taunt comes out like right now, I guess.
Right, but if the taunt comes down, then the heal doesn't come down. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's over 2 turns. Kind of like the lethal you're trying to set up as a hunter. Like, he's still looking for damage here.
Well, right now,
Well,
he's
with the
going to
leopard helm,
win.
he's got lethal, yeah.
Yeah, he has lethal. Um,
Yeah, that's a tough one for Life Coach. I mean, do you even have a choice? I think you have to go Molten, Healbot, and just that's it.
No, you don't die. You don't die. If you Molten, Owl the Leper Gnome, and taunt them up, you stay alive.
Oh, you're right. You keep the 2 damage away from you.
Well, that's a great great spot. I didn't spot that at all. That's a really great find. I completely forgot about that owl thing.
But if he doesn't do that, he's dead.
Yeah, and I think he'll realize that he has to because quick shot hero power would kill him.
Kill Command would also kill him, and there's no beast on the board. So
Nice find. You actually called it before he did it, so that's great. See, now you can tell the entire.
yeah,
unit.
but it's life coach. I mean, he may have seen the play like a minute ago, and he just wants to draw it out just in case he won't screw it up. I mean that's just the player he is.
So is there a lethal looming? Like with a combination of waves, look at buff your minion.
No.
Let's say.
Is
No, there's
there
no
a way
lethal
he
here.
can? I think he can. If he's playing explosive traps, he
Right.
might even try to force the issue of like, don't hit me unless you have Healbot. But that's also challenging considering that I think he's probably running freezing traps if it's hybrid.
Oh yeah, with a heal bot that can
So-
also be super dangerous.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a very good option. Although he could be playing the split, he can be playing 1 explosive, 2 freezings. Question mark.
Freezing.
Indeed. It's a freezing trap.
If it's a freezing, you kind of want to juggle down that owl.
Yeah. Sunscreen Protector is also bad too, to be honest. 'Cause you
Yeah,
have-
Yeah. But if
like,
you can
what's
juggle
what's
down the
gonna
owl,
hit?
Everything's
Owl's
bad.
actually a body to taunt.
oh,
Just hit the
juggle face,
Juggle
not bad.
face.
Try to win next turn with a hero power weave in. Yeah, there it is.
Right. Well,
Life coach has got to be breathing a sigh of relief here. This is a spot
Yeah.
where you're very often dead, no matter what you do.
right.
So
Now, what's interesting too is that he sort of wants to pop the ancient, oh, not the ancient, the antique heal bot. Excuse me, words are hard. The antique heal bot off the freezing trap so he can get
Oh,
double
no
value.
way.
But then at the same time, he won't have that time to do it.
So you could
he has to
try
pop-
with the Sun Fury, worst case scenario, and then you trade with the Owl into the Juggler. So at least you get your Taunter back.
Yeah. And then if it's explosive, you lose the owl by attacking face. If it's snake trap, you also risk.
Wow.
He's gonna
So
do it!
He played around both explosive and snake trap.
Oh! That's gonna be a painful awakening call.
Is that it?
I think Life Coach is also forcing him to attack into the heal box.
If the
I think.
Owl hits face, that's it. If the Juggle hits face of the
Juggle hits
Owl, I
face.
think it is. It.
There's a 1 in 5 chance. No.
I think he's still alive. I'm not insane, am I? Maybe I am. Maybe he already has lethal and I'm just
No,
miscalculating.
he's got it. He's got it.
No, he's got it already. Never mind.
The owl top deck is enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Life
Never
Coach
mind.
had to make a play for the trade to prevent that
Right.
from happening.
I also feel like it was a combination play. I think Life Coach realized, one, he needs that heal bot to come back, and the second thing is that he didn't want to like trigger explosive trap and get more damage onto him, or a snake trap and then juggles hit his face or kill off his minions.
Yeah. There's
and
so
also
many
give
traps to
another
play
charge.
around, right?
Another
He-
charge
he-
to the bow. So he felt
He-
like
yeah, he may have been thinking just the bow as well because he wasn't able to apply any pressure at all that game. I think maybe that factor is possibly the biggest one because the bow could just very well just attack the Molten Giant to push for a little bit more damage to the face eventually. But yeah, some really high level play, but not quite enough from Professor Life Coach there. He will get another chance.
Professor Life Coach.
I'm going with
DOS
it.
Professor to you, sir.
Is it Das Professor? You've been in Germany,
Actually, I think it's Der Professor.
Der Professor.
But I think
Whoa.
DOS sounds funnier. So.
So
I think
that's
Der sounds funnier, man.
Yeah, DOS Professor. Yeah.
oh my god. They're a professor. So the thing is, maybe Lothar is gonna have to adapt his cosplay now that Life Coach has a new hairstyle.
It's also pretty important win for Cloud9.
Right.
It puts them on the board instead of 0-3 and having Ecop benched, which is basically game over. It's 1-2 The bench is basically lifted for them, and it's on Life Coach because Life Coach has a risky play here, but if he's not likely to play, you can maybe narrow down a good matchup because RDU and Thijs only each have one deck here.
Agreed. I think now would be a good time to. Well,
Did you push the Mage?
Like Druid would be good here.
From Cloud9's side, just because you think Thijs is going to come out with Mage?
Yeah, I think it's too risky for Life Coach to bring Life Coach out again. I think Druid does pretty decent against the Paladin and against Freeze Mage, so I feel like that's a really good combination, or that your Druid would be good against. The only decent deck would be against Druid would be the Patron, and even then, Druids can definitely steal that game. So I feel like this is an opportunity for Kalento to come out. Realistically, though, I mean, Life Coach has handlock, so Druid's not even in that bad of a spot at all. So you can save it for later. So if Strifecode wants to come back out again, then that's perfectly fine as well. Because you're always afraid of what like if you're thinking Life Coach is in danger of being benched and what his decks are best against, and that's where you want to be able to slide it in.
Yeah,
and things like Mech Mage and whatnot against handlock sometimes is pretty tricky.
All right, well, the Paladin comes out. It's going to be probably an aggressive Paladin versus Mech Mage. This is basically largely a dice roll on who can get the best opening hand.
Yeah, and I think the Blast Mage is a really great card in the matchup. If you can stick a Mech there on the board and it doesn't get removed, the Blast Mage stands to just take the entire board away with it.
Yeah, but that's the big problem. Like, if both players have good opening hands, neither player is going to have a creature when turn 4 comes around.
One has Divine Shield, the other has like efficient ping trades. So
right. I think actually Paladin has the edge because Mech Mage is often playing a tempo game, and very often you'll have to ping just to get better trade, which is usually going to mean that you fall behind on tempo. So if you fall behind on tempo, I think the Paladin just rolls you over.
Well, that's kind of what they abuse, really. Is when you miss your draw, they just take the game right away. They do that against just about every deck, so I don't think it should be any different here. But there's a little bit more potential, maybe because the deck is also aggressive, to counteract that with their own potential blowouts. So
I think it is more here because like you have to consider that at their best, most competitive decks in Hearthstone are on a very similar level, and if your win condition is to tempo out the opponent, that means that you're not going to be effective if you're losing even slightly.
Okay, so you think whoever gets to deny the opponent, it's kind of like Zoo versus Zoo, who gets the first snowball going, never loses it?
I think it's exactly that. Like, I actually feel like the Paladin might have some comeback mechanics. We've seen Consecrate, we've seen maybe some late game in the deck as far as Ellie is concerned. Probably not in this one with Leroy. But we know for sure that there's nothing like Flame Strike in Striker's deck.
Oh
What?
my goodness.
What?
That is pretty brutal. There's not really that good of a way to deal with Mech Warper.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that will mean Strifecode plays his entire hand.
Well, you could play the Haunted Creeper now that you've got the Juggler to go with it on turn 2. It's not
I think I like the
terrible
Haunted
bad.
Creeper.
That was a great pickup.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Ooh, the greeds.
I guess he's trying to force his opponent to ping and waste his turn 2. That's his hope. His hope is that his opponent self-denies the tempo, and then he picks it up by not even wasting the coin. So
It's very optimistic, though, considering that. Well, I think RDU's bluffing another 1-drop here. There's really no other play with the coin, unless he really feels so generous, like he wants his opponent to ping that badly that he's willing to put Blessing of Might on his Leper Gnome. But I think we're not that desperate yet.
yeah.
Well, let's just hold off on this crazy.
What if he's got Molten Giants and he wants to Blessing of Might his opponent's 1 health creature?
Wow, the day this becomes real, Paladin and Giants.
Maybe he's just
enabling
role-playing
your
Life Coach, just taking some time. Bro.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you wait one more turn for Mech Warper? Because the Annoyatron's all right here.
Yeah, so is pretty much any of the two drops.
Every
is
yeah, I was
fine
gonna
here,
say
to be
everything's
honest.
kind of okay.
No, I think you just trade in Mech Worker. I mean, what can punish you from a Paladin here? There's like
Nothing.
nothing.
Not even a Seal of Light play would do it. So
Yeah, the only nothing really. There's only chargers that can, like if
Yeah.
he's playing Rider, but
then you're happy, I
that's
guess, with
very
that basic.
yeah.
It's
And
such a
now,
fast turn there.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, he planned it out already.
no,
Like, he already
that
knew
is
what
very
was going-
life coach. Sometimes he takes the entire turn and then next turn just instantly drops something. And I've seen him do that with secrets.
Hmm.
And that just like totally throws you off. You're like, wait, what? You just play that secret instantaneously, so it has to be this. And then
I think this play has to be the 1/1 drop because the Snowcher kind of seals out the game if you deny a True Silver. And next turn you have the tempo freeze plus the Shredder. And really the only way your opponent come back is by playing a big creature. So you deny a weapon and you deny a big creature. It seems like Strifecrow is really in a situation where he cannot lose this game. It has to be like Consecrates.
Yeah.
yes. There's also it's just consecration. I was thinking about quality, but I don't really think I don't think these guys are playing it for sure. Just people who want to
Possible, but
optimize
with
their
Leroy, with Leroy it's much less likely.
Let me
How likely do you think Leroy is in here?
How what? Sorry.
How likely do you think it is that these type of Paladin decks run Leroy?
It really depends on how like heavily aggressive they want to go. I don't even know what they cut. I think sometimes you cut like a King's Fort because you just want to rush a bit more. But then is your entire deck revolving around Arcane Golems and the Wolf Riders? I think that's kind of the time where it changes.
It really depends on the pocket of the meta.
Yeah.
Leroy is, much stronger against pressuring decks. Like, for example, even though quality might be good hypothetically against Patron because you put them all down to 1 health, the fact is you don't let them get to that point. You just kill them. So it's better tech against that kind of stuff. Equality is like if you need to get past Handlock and you can't, but then you have Owls. Like, why do you need Equality? And even then, sometimes you just barrel down with more damage. So I like Leroy. That's why I always kind of scratch my head. It's like the Mech Shamans that run Lightning Storm in a way.
It's
like
not
some-
consistent, right?
It's like the 1 in 5 games or 6 games that you need the Lightning Storm, you don't even draw it half the time. So it's like rather just have base damage.
Yeah, just like keep pushing the same consistent game plan instead of
Yeah.
spreading it out. Yeah.
I love
Frodan likes the face damage. Yeah.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well, as it so happened, RDU did feel he had to push for a big creature on the board, as I think he's rightful in assuming he had to, and gets punished by that. And now I think it's basically do or die on a Consecrate draw.
And even then, Consecrate still doesn't even guarantee that he deals with everything. In
So
fact,
does it do or die on a double
There's-
consecrate draw?
there's 4 minions with 3 health.
Oh.
There you go. Bam.
I mean, he's gonna need the jugglers to really do some cool stuff next turn.
Yeah, but it might. I mean, there's no way Strifecrow kills the Haunted Creeper here, so he could just save the Haunted Creeper 1 turn if he
Yeah,
wants.
and get a crazy double juggle. Well, he doesn't want it. Guess he wants to force the mage to ping twice. Hope there's no blast mage.
Last
Yeah.
mage off the unstable portal. About to blow
Oh
your
my god,
minds.
what?
About to blow your
Why
minds.
would you suggest something so disgusting?
No! This is so bad. This is bad in every way.
hilarious.
This is the definition of a card you do not play in this circumstance.
What? Just
Make that 1/1 a 5/5, right?
I don't know. Maybe you can play.
It's plans for your shredder to become a
could
squirrel,
play
man. Don't.
Yeah, maybe.
I think on
Play it
average,
after
it's
clearing
a
the
good
board.
tempo play. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're playing a 3/3. It's not the fact that you're just converting something into a potential 1/1. Take Master gets a lot of hate, man. But back in the days,
Ours is
Chris
Squire,
knows this.
man. Ours is
back in
Squire.
the days when Gadget Zan Auctioneer used to be stealth, this was your answer to it as like a conversion.
I hated that though. That was like. Oh.
Oh.
Yes.
It did nothing.
Oh no, it's a beast. Oh, it makes no difference. Sorry.
Oh man, I remember people tried really hard to make Beast Druid work. They put weird stuff like this. Try to
Mhm.
make it.
Yeah. Well, I like the Hemet Tinker combo still.
Hemet Tinker combination.
Yeah.
Alright.
I think it's still like top tier. We're just waiting to see it happen.
Reasonable.
Oh, that's not
That
exactly.
has to be the worst card in the deck at this stage.
Yeah,
It
and I
has to be,
think
right? There's nothing more.
Well, at least you can play. If you drew like a 7-mana minion, you couldn't play it. You just lose.
yeah, but then you win because you play it.
Yeah, I guess so. You'd have it for the following turn, but in this turn, you'd be running dead.
All right, where Strife Crow I think is just gonna choose to go for it. If there's another Consecrate, RDU can come back.
I mean,
And
RDU also drew the worst card. in his
Ooh,
deck.
that's a pretty good card, though. No.
yeah, that might work as a Consecrate with enough RNG.
Yeah.
I think you actually want to Dude first to see what it's gonna be like.
Oh.
Oh,
No. Just gonna trust in the
Whoa.
juggles. 1, 2.
insane! Just missing a tiny bit of
Face.
damage,
Perfect juggles.
and now well, hello.
Oh, that's interesting, but I think
That
has
is
to
so
play it
painful.
right?
He has
Do
to
you
play
see
it. It's just no, you can't save this. You have to play it as the body. If you don't play this, you'll lose for sure.
And look at that! RDU could kill this, and then more.
Yes, he will kill it. Juggles?
Oh, that's awful.
That's a bad one. That's a really bad one.
That's the worst.
Still has one more. Still has one more.
The face.
Just hit anything, not the face.
Oh, I'm disappointed.
It could have been disastrous.
Look at that dragon synergy, man.
Wait, are these whelps dragons?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, that's cool.
One day we're gonna get the dragon command. There's gonna be like a hunter card that deals 10 damage if you have a whelp.
Oh man!
Oh man.
But blast mage is 5 damage to the opponent's face.
Yeah, it is. Artie is going to gain 2 life killing it with a True Silver, so he's not going to be on the threat of dying just to any one card.
Right.
Right, and he can still keep healing up. So I think at this point it's all about Strifecrow getting a mid-sized body that RDU just can't deal with. That is unfortunately for him not it.
Yes.
What is the
Yeah.
Mind Favor ever gonna do?
You have to keep in mind, like when you're at 8th life, if your mage opponent is pinging your creatures, you're very happy.
Yeah, exactly. You're forcing him to start, staying away from your face.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, oh my!
Did someone call for the doctor?
Okay.
Equality top deck is
I see
probably.
your 2 1/1s and I raised you a 7/7.
Oh wait, no, that does nothing. Unfortunately for
Uh,
RDU.
Oh man. Okay, so
That's game, no matter what.
you can't even draw off divine favor.
No, it's
Oh.
not game. He has to kill the Dr. Boom with his weapon.
Yeah, but he,
The boom bots do 1 damage.
Actually, no, I think going face and taking the gamble is the way to go. Just having the boom bots. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You just have-
GG.
So hit the
Oh,
1/1.
he's dead to the ping. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
No, he's not. He's
Well,
not.
no,
He's
just-
at 9.
He'll be at 9, but he has to
Wait, what? No, he just killed himself. The 5/5 had to hit
Yeah.
the boom bot.
yeah, so that way he takes no damage.
That's a bit of a misplay.
Nope.
Oh, but he knew he was going to hit face
That's
anyway.
right. Confirmation bias is confirmed.
Confirmation
Right,
bias.
Yep. Drive Cobra to side relief because that was tough.
Tough is
Nice.
not tough is an understatement. That was holy cow. That was a sick entry, Noxious. Like a chair spiral, and then you suddenly appear like a magic trick.
Yeah, somebody
Needs
rang
to
at the
keep petting
door.
a cat while doing that.
Yeah,
but I
with
mean,
a mad scientist haircut, right?
I can't believe how insane these games are. It's like Striker had one of the most unbelievable openers you can get out of that deck, going first at least. You can do a little bit better going second, but I mean, he didn't get the
Yeah.
coin. And then RDU needed a Consecrate, and he got one on turn 4, which is pretty good to not lose the game right there. And then he's going to lose the game unless he drew the other Consecrate or had, I guess, the second juggler with ridiculous juggles. So
With
I guess
really good hits, yeah.
yeah. And then he was going to win the game almost 100% unless, I think, like...
Dr.
what?
Boom came out, yeah.
Like,
It was like
Fireball
Dr.
was
Boom or
not-
Fireball into Frostbolt or something.
Yeah, it had to be running burn cards, exactly. So it had to be like Frostbolt into Fireball or Fireball into Frostbolt.
He got
And
the best
or
burn
Dr.
card.
Boom. And then it did happen.
The
And
best
then
burn
the
card.
Boom
8 damage to
RNG
the
happened.
face.
Like RDU actually still had a chance to win the game, but the boom bots were too much. It's crazy stuff.
Crazy stuff indeed. Can you imagine if you just get those Ronin top decks, and then you have to like cast 3 arcane missiles with a board full of 1/1s for lethal?
And you still win it because Avenging Wrath sometimes kills Ragnaros.
I saw that. I saw that post. All right. Well, that's going to be a tied series. We go from a best of 11 to a best of 7 now. Who can take the early lead off at this point? Shaping up the lineups here. Let's take a look at what we have remaining. I'm still okay with the fact that Cloud9 has this Druid that's pretty decent. I thought that was a weak link originally. Now I'm going to shift my attention to Strifegrow's Paladin. I'm not sure if it's going to be aggressive or it's going to be more of a control or mid-range approach. What do you guys think?
Overall, Strifegrow has had not great, but like better than 50% results with his mid-range Paladin. So I think that's enough reason to keep bringing it back each week.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, that the Freeze Mage kind of crushes that most of the time.
Yeah. I'm always worried about that kind of stuff, too, because if you win a couple of games and then it feels like the opposite side of variance will eventually catch up to you. Because maybe he wins those games and he's above 50%, but he has to gravitate a little bit below that, so he loses the next few.
It's kind of like, well, I feel like the mid-range Pally is to Strifegrow, I guess, what the Druid is to Thijs. Is that deck that no one really gets good scores with, but somehow he makes it work every week. So, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I wouldn't mind Strifegrow coming out here again with Paladin. There seems to be too many classes that are good against it, though, if he's bringing mid-range. The aggressive Paladin will take advantage of it. The Patron Warrior is still very strong against Paladin. And the Freeze Mage is also problematic for Paladin. It's not unwinnable by all means, but it's still very difficult. So I say table it for now. Try to see if you can line it up with Handlock. And then, go.
Well, I mean, could you do Freeze Mage as well?
You could. It's just that I don't really like Paladin against Freeze Mage these days. Just because
you
I
have
think
to run
Paladin
a lot
has
of healing, right?
Yeah, I think you have to account too much for aggro. So things like Zombie Chow is really what you're pushing for, and then all of a sudden, your board isn't as good as it normally is.
Yeah, you have to tech really heavily against it too.
Warlock versus Druid. This is a matchup that often favors the Druid, as turning out those Molten Giant walls is not really going to work because usually you're going to die from like one of the teen life values.
Yes. Not to mention that Druid has an answer to turn 4 almost always, right? You drop the Twilight Drake, they silence it. You drop the Mountain Giant, they big game hunter it. And then you also give them so much time to ramp. Like sometimes Druid doesn't have anything to play. They don't have the Wild Growth on turn 2, but then they don't draw any minions, and then they Wild Growth anyways on like turn 4, and they still pressure you from the mid game on. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, because turn 6 Ancient of Lore is enough to make you just want to quit the game, right? Like it's just early enough that it's going to be a problem, but it's not late enough they can abuse the fact that it costs them 7 mana to do. So yeah.
One thing oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, I was thinking about BGH. Like, BGH doesn't hit very much of the meta anymore. Like,
people
are playing Patron Warriors and aggressive decks that kill Patron Warriors before they can do anything. Right? That's about it.
Yeah, Patron warped everything. Patron is a metagame warping deck by its very nature, because the moment you try to counter it, even if you push it out of the meta for like a day, next time your counter Patron deck is beat, then Patron has to come back to fix that. So it's like it takes only 2 steps for Patron to come back in relevance. So BGH never gets time to become an impactful card anymore.
Guys, I think Kalento is laying on his bed.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just
like
FYI.
Casually.
Tell me another
tournament.
game for $250,000 that they're playing with that you can lay on your bed
Monopoly.
and play in front of tens of thousands of people. That's Hearthstone, guys.
Yeah, of course you added that clause at the end there, so I couldn't actually write.
It's so cool that you can do that. So
guys, I think we maybe missed something here.
No, I did.
That Emperor draw is like off the wall.
Yeah, it's on the board, in fact.
Yeah, but Clento's still in his bed, so he's not terribly surprised.
Yeah, he's like,
There's no emotional reaction. In fact, he looks stressed. He's like, I drew Emperor. Oh god. Oh god.
They're gonna nerf it now. They're gonna nerf it as soon as they see this.
It's gonna be another Reddit thread. It's not 50 damage with no board, but it's gonna be the Emperor that beats Life Coach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one.
I mean, I've had games where like you innervate Thorson like really early out, like maybe you can double innervate and then just draw nothing. But this is not nothing at all. He has some really quality minions in his hand.
Yeah, I think it's hell when you get Emperor Thorson with like a Wrath and like some kind of second innervate and it goes nowhere.
Whoa!
Whoa! Colento going for, hey, I'd like that giant, please, thank you. I can see that the reasoning. So see, that is why we're casting. That's why he's
Colento.
playing the game.
That's harsh though.
But even if it hits
pretty much
giant, is it really that good?
You steal it at least. If you play the Emperor, what do you do?
You play
Like-
Sylvanas afterwards.
Yeah.
Doc.
And then he Shadow
Shadow
Flames the
Flames.
giant and you lose everything.
Mm.
That's the big problem with playing Emperor here, is just because giant to Shadow Flame would just lose you the game right away.
That is really interesting. That is really interesting.
Yeah.
I like that you pointed that out, Noxious. Because now Life Coach doesn't want to play this giant. Because he's foregoing development on the board by doing it.
Void Color is still really good though, isn't it?
Kind of.
Gets you Mal'Ganis.
It's so risky.
That might
yeah,
be a
never
little
mind.
bad.
But
Never mind.
you don't want to give him the Mal'Ganis for it.
Yeah.
Like if he has a Wrath or a Keeper, Void
Mhm.
Caller actually gives him Mal'Ganis full
Like
health.
straight up, yeah, full health, exactly. Yeah, never mind. Not so good after all. You could just play Mountain and feed him the giant, and then you Hellfire everything off the board. It's no issue for you.
Well, it's not going to be a Shade for 3/3 anymore. It'll be a 4/4, so it does complicate a little bit.
Hmm. Well then,
That's an interesting game so far. It's gearing up to be it's already full of decisions that I think a lot of players would have made differently, including myself. So
I mean, these are two of the most brilliant minds. At least when we have in our current player pool. Maybe it'll change as more people get into the game and we get to see different players go at it. But Life Coach and Colento, it almost gets. This is like as high level as it gets in terms of what these guys are making.
yeah.
It's not
Life
Life
Coach
Coach's
is-
turn, and he looks like
He's
on the rope.
roping. I was gonna say, Life Coach is roping on Colento's turn. That's intense.
I think Kanto's. I mean, I think he's trading for sure. I mean, the reason to play Sylvanas is to trade here.
Unless now he played into your hand, so you're thinking he's got something on his mind.
No, I
but
think
I think
you
it's too
just-
good to ever not do.
Like, I think this is going to be a taunted Druid of the Claw,
Mhm.
and you don't attack, so you don't really enable Hellfire to get great value. And the only answer if you don't Hellfire is like Dark Bomb, and if you Dark Bomb, you can't do anything on 3 mana, right? So you just mess with the Warlock another turn.
He still kind of did. There's 1 mana floating, and as a result, it disrupts his flow a little bit. Oh, Life Coach looks really upset.
Yeah, he's playing poker on 3 tables at the same time, and right now he just lost an all-in, so sorry. Imagine having Life Coach across you at the poker table, though. Thinking like this. Intimidation.
I mean, people did experience that at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Uh-oh.
That is not looking too good for Life Coach.
So next turn, he's looking at 15 damage.
Yeah.
And he's in a position where if he plays really defensive, like Healbot, then his opponent has free range of pressure and develop 40 more.
That might be your only hope. Then you can go Molten Shadow Flame. That might be the only way you really push for a board clear, which then helps you stabilize into Mal'Ganis.
Yeah, it kind of helps stabilize just because if you're not going to Healbot that turn, you're just never going to Healbot. You have to think about that. And you are going to need that 8 health.
Colento has to be trading away the 4-3,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's really no incentive to keep it on board because then it becomes a target where he can Shadow Flame pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
Thorson making the silence even cheaper, so he can squeeze in other cards after silencing it. It's basically an owl now with 3 extra health.
That's game, right? Like, there's nothing that Life Coach can do. He has to tap into an answer.
Nope.
Wow.
That's it.
Extremely one-sided game.
Yeah, that's what Wild Growth and Innervate will do to you, I guess. Once in a while, you'll get those games that you just can't take. Maybe that's the reason people still bring Druid to tournaments. There are snowball games that just can't be stopped.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest thing was the Sylvanas play, as you mentioned, Noxious, how it denied the giant, it denied the big turn 4. It allowed Kolento to always be winning in the game, and when you're always winning, the pressure just mounts up to such an insane amount, and it really wasn't anything Life Coach could do. It seemed like he was a bit distressed over one of his decisions, but I mean, none of the other options really looked particularly appealing. So
yeah,
I can't blame him personally.
Right, I think that was a good combination of like Kolento making a really strong play and then Life Coach not having a play for
yeah, because usually Handlock is it's known for a deck that has answers, right? That's why you play it. It's a deck that has options, but it had nothing there, like all the game long.
99% of the players, I don't even care about the one person be like, well, that was a fairly obvious play. As a resident Druid expert, I have got 5,000 wins. Yeah. 99% of the people would have put out Thorson there because of like what it gains. It reduces heavier minions. It's a 5/5 body. You know, you can challenge the next giant, whatever. That was a really great play, though. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Absolutely. And that puts Cloud9 ahead.
Yeah, by a margin.
From a terrible start to the start of an insane comeback. It's almost like we saw this today already.
Yeah, that's right. So based off of the current patterns, it's going to be 3 more wins for Cloud9 unless Nihilum can break the momentum.
Cloud9 is considerably ahead. This is like the best position to be in this best of 11, where you had just come off of a win, so all of your players are available to play without any risk, and each player needs to only win 1 game. Whereas if you look at Nihilum's board, they have Life Coach, who's coming off of a loss, so it's a risk to play him, but yeah, if you don't, you're limiting your class pool again. So, you know, a bad position, a game behind, and the opportunity to bench the one player with 2 classes. A lot of negative factors from already being behind.
Yeah, that's right. We did say that Druid was a class that looked already pretty good against the field of what Nihilum was bringing. But taking a look at the rest of the classes now, I feel like it's a pretty strong advantage, like you said, so I have to agree. But it's never over till it's over. You have to evaluate what these guys can do per game as opposed to the overall score, because we've seen people go through droughts for a while.
Yeah.
I would be okay with sending out pretty much anything here from Cloud9. I feel like each deck has a pretty good matchup and a couple of bad ones. So whatever you send out is fine.
Yeah, I think one of the weirdest matchups to navigate is like Freeze Mage with Patron Warrior, because it's so long, and it might come down to like 2 different things, where either one wins on fatigue by navigating the fatigue game better than the other one, but they kind of have to be on the same page, where they both want to play the same game, right, the fatigue game, or your opponent Warrior is trying to be aggressive about it as opposed to playing it slowly. So that's one of my favorite matchups after Patron came out. Freeze Mage.
I think Paladin here might be the favored class just because of how much pressure you can put on the Warrior.
I don't know. Those 1/1s are not as problematic in Patron as they used to be in Control. Of course, it depends on what Kolento's playing, right? But he's been playing a lot of Patron.
Right. Well, mid-range Paladin is certainly one of the worst decks imaginable against the Patron Warrior, but I feel like if you ramp up the aggressiveness on your Paladin deck so much, it's just like a tipping point that really, it's like breaking the gates. It's just way too much stuff.
Yeah, unleash the Divine Shields.
Yeah, exactly. Unleash the Divine Shields, unleash the Leroy. It's just so much pressure that you just cannot deal with it. So I feel like a Paladin has a pretty good matchup here.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's possible. Like, I don't know enough about the matchup. It's true though that this deck, the Patron Warrior deck, needs a lot of time to set up. which is not the case of the Paladin deck. It just kind of goes in and does its thing, and when Patron can respond, then maybe it has a chance of coming back. Sometimes it's just too late. Well, look at this Whirlwind, right? Like, how do you...
And even if you can come back as a Patron Warrior from a super aggressive deck, often you kind of ruin your combo to the point where you kind of break your win condition or you delay it too long.
So I like a Death's Bite to kill a 2/2 here, just because even if a Blessing of King comes out, then you're safe on the following turn. And you can play the Acolyte with Whirlwind on top of that. But we'll see what he ends up doing. There's a few lines of play I think that are okay. I don't think Whirlwind right now is any good, unfortunately. Unless you go with the Acolyte, perhaps.
Nope.
Yeah.
Apparently Whirlwind is good enough.
And he does it in a way where he doesn't even draw a card with the Acolyte.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
he's
find.
supposed to
That's
jump
really
forward.
weird. Because I thought he would play around the fact that Chusaro was going to come out anyway. But he's fine with one card.
I think he's like okay with the cards in his hand. 2 Death Bite is another set of Whirlwinds. He doesn't want to draw too many cards for Divine Favor, so he can get pressured out of the game because he realizes there's one way to lose, and that's taking too much damage too quickly. And by getting more cards, he loads his opponents up with ammo.
Well, the Ghoul's going to be amazing here, so...
Yeah, Ghoul is fantastic. This is one of the decks that is absolutely super good against dissecting whatever Paladin can throw at him because of so many 1-health minions, and Unstable Ghoul is yet another reason why.
What about playing Leroy right now? Because you're never going to get any more value out of it, right? Like, it's before Patron, it's before Frauding, I mean, where they're not going to get value out of it.
Yeah, you're not going to really, like, put Blessing of Kings on Leroy. The best that you can ever assist Leroy in is, like, an Argent Protector, but you don't even have it in hand, so I like going for it. It's nice.
Yeah, you just don't have much of anything else to play. It's starting to look Patron favored already.
Yeah, no, it's. I think Patron, if they get the Whirlwinds, which sometimes they whiff. Sometimes it's just whiff on the Whirlwinds and the Ghouls early, and that is even Ghoul. Sometimes Iron Beak Owl comes out, you're out of the game. But when you have the Whirlwind effect already, I think you're super far ahead of any of those swarmy aggressive decks that have been coming up on the ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I kind of knew that the typical aggressive Paladin deck is going to have some issues against Patron, but I thought maybe with the Leroy, with this like a little bit extra aggression, some magic can happen. But
well, it's not over yet, right? So there's a possibility that RDU can pull it off. I mean, he's got a South Sea with the Abusive. Blessing of Might could help. We'll see.
Man, I really like Kalento's plays. They're just so consistent with his entire game plan. Just dump the hand, clear the board, make sure not to give him Divine Favor value, but also be able to take it preemptively. I love saving the Death Spite here because he wanted to play Gnomish Inventor and not Death Spite number 2. And so I like the fact that he keeps... he's using his mana effectively. RDU at the same time,
all in.
it's like he's all in, and it's not going to work out for him for this turn, but it's still possible. If Kalento picks up Armor Smith sometime soon, though, I feel like ready to shut it out.
Yeah, there's one more left, right? And that could be the decisive card. I mean, the board's gone for RDU, and the Ghoul on its own is enough to stop pretty much any aggression going from him, unless he runs, face damage. This Paladin, let's just be honest, the odds of you actually having face damage worth anything are pretty slim.
It's just, I think Konto is just trying to dump his hand as much as possible. So even though you really want to armor up here, I think we'll probably see the Ghoul.
It looks like... So the Frauding on its own could just be an almost lethal, right? Like, not quite lethal next turn, but... You have to play the Ghoul here, right? Or because otherwise you're really not accomplishing anything. Because the Chargement comes out and you're maybe still out of it.
Ooh.
Wow, he armors up. Okay.
I think he's accounting for a 2-card combination that can kill him. I don't see it now that Leroy is out.
Yeah.
Double
11.
consecrate.
You wait one turn, right? You can't do it now. That's suicide. Well, then again, before the patience,
you can do it now.
right?
You can do it now because if you wait till next turn, your next draw is dead. But if you do it now, your 1/1 challenges the Frothing.
Who would have thought?
So actually, I think you do have to. It sucks,
But you
which
have
is
to.
why it's understandable to think you have to save it. But I think if you save it, you just don't have a win condition.
I think Kalento now feels more comfortable playing Battle Reach. You saw his opponent had 3 mana remaining, chose the hero power, it was his last card.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity where he can use it finally. Then he just needs to pick up Armor Smiths, and then he's smooth sailing from that point onwards.
It's so weird.
No way.
This frothing only has 11 attack and doesn't charge. It's like, I don't know, man.
It looks like it's a bad frothing. What's going on?
Yeah.
There? Oh, that's gonna be the nail in the coffin, I think.
Yeah, probably.
That frothing doesn't even lift.
We got like 120 on the bench. That's a lot less than you put down, right?
It's way more actually. I'm just a frail little boy.
Oh, that's a good card. You can buff your opponent's frothing.
It's not a good card at all.
You can make it good again.
Can you buff the opponents with buff?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course, yeah.
Yep. It used to be something you could think about doing with like BGH.
Yeah, or Molten Giant.
Oh man, if times got really desperate, yeah. Or if you're trying to tempo for the win.
Mm-hmm.
You've never done that, Frodan? You've never played
no,
our
I
rank
try
with
to
our
avoid.
decks, I think.
I try to avoid playing this deck.
Okay.
And also, I don't. Also, you don't really use Blessing Kings offensively.
I know that in one of my better moments, I ended up having lethal with Kings on Tyrion, BGH weapon out. That's a nice combo too.
Right,
Oh,
you
that's
attack for 6, and then you get another 5.
That is really cool. All right. Well, unless RD draws Divine Favor now, so he is done next turn. I don't foresee him being able to do it otherwise. That's gonna wrap it up. Cloud9 4 games in a row.
Are we gonna see the reverse? That wasn't a reverse sweep, right? Didn't Nihilum take it 2-0 at first?
Yes, I believe they did.
Let it happen. Let it happen again. It's not gonna be a triple bench, unfortunately, but
Wow, he didn't Kings. I feel you have to there.
yeah, just
I think
maybe
he's hoping
keep
for a
everything.
charger, like Arcane Golem, and then has
Yeah,
the
but-
opportunity to charge for damage.
You have to Divine Favor into that, and you're on a 2-turn clock, so your Kings has to be effective just to prevent damage when you're at 10 life.
Yeah, it's a fair question. Fair question to ask.
Well,
So,
All right.
4-2.
Kalento gets the first check mark of the match here. I mean,
Yeah.
someone had to get it. Cloud9 is on 4 points now.
6 games in, we got with the first check mark, so it's not that unusual. It's still very standard.
Yep, and Nihilum's struggling, man. Nihilum's struggling a lot.
Adam's on a must-win situation because if they go down again, then there's 4 games for one deck to get a win. That's just too many chances.
Well, I think we also like they had a guaranteed top spot if last week they hadn't lost with the score they did, but they actually did lose with one too many losses, which was an issue for them. And today they might just have a bad score, which is going to throw them out of top 2. That's not something they're
fair
looking
enough.
to do. Yeah, after
Oh,
2
no.
weeks of almost guaranteed top 2.
Nihilum?
Yeah.
Well, if they lose here, they're out of the top 2 for sure.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. They had
if
an
they
almost
lose
guaranteed
really
one.
badly, they might be like a lot lower on the list, I guess. But that's about it.
Yeah.
Do we know what kind of Paladin? No, we don't know what kind of Paladin.
No.
they're running.
We have not seen too many of these decks. In fact, we haven't even seen the Warrior of Life Coach. I don't believe.
Or the Mage from Tice.
Or the Mage of Dice.
In
Yeah.
fact, it's been already used Paladin and Life Coach's Handlock, which keeps losing.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Well,
Life Coach is
based off the
Handlock.
pattern here, it seems like Nihilum's trying to avoid getting benched. They keep alternating. Like Life Coach came out on games 3 and 5. RDU's Paladin came out 4 and 6. So if they can follow this pattern, then maybe Nihilum would jump again to Life Coach. Maybe even Life Coach Warrior or Warlock. Maybe Tice comes out right around now because he hasn't played in a while.
Does he have a
But-
bad matchup amongst like Freeze Mage against Paladin and the Warlock? I think are both fine because whatever Warlock archetype you run into, you're usually okay because you can burn them down either late game or control them if they're Zoo. Which you know,
it's Zoo.
exactly. He's got the info, and Paladin, I guess, it's usually, I guess, a pretty easy matchup because you can control the board, all game long. And how is Paladin really going to pop the ice barriers and the ice blocks altogether?
Yeah, I'd go for the Mage here for Tice, and then the best chance is probably Ecops, Warlock, unless Strifeco is bringing an aggressive Paladin, in which case that's also semi-okay, but I still go with the Zoo because the Zoo is really dynamic with the board.
I think when you're facing a team that only has 2 classes left, it doesn't really matter what you play too much. Like most of the counterplay is in like the 2 or 3 win kind of situation. Right now, I think I'm just hoping for some good old Hearthstone RNG on their side.
Well, I can start with this. If Tice is playing the Freeze Mage and is able to take down the Zoo, then it'd be good. But Zoo is getting better and better against Freeze Mage with every single content patch that comes out. It feels like Zoo, when it first was facing up against Freeze Mage, it was literally running into brick walls.
Yeah.
Considering that Freeze Mage was faster, Freeze was cheaper, and then Zoo was less Death Rattle centric. But now with Void Callers out, Mal'Ganis came out with GVG, and now you have like Imp Gang Boss pushing out 1/1s every time it gets hit. It's just really hard to deal with the board all at one time as Freeze Mage.
It's really the heavy hitters that kind of screw up your plan. The Mal'Ganis and the Doctor Boom that I think is in Ecop's deck. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is in Ecop's deck. He ended up discarding it.
Yeah.
Right.
Loatheb as well is a really big swing card, and it's included pretty much in all those lists. And if you can just lock the board that one turn that you're about to get knocked out the board, very often you just win on the back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello.
I was going to say that's pretty bad.
Tice's
wow.
hand sucks.
Well, he's got guaranteed double ice block at least. He just needs not to top deck an ice barrier ever again.
Yeah, but that's not what you want. Mad Scientist is okay, actually. Like, Tice's hand isn't that bad, like, in the early game. He's not going to get run over. But he needs to draw into things that do stuff. Because having double ice block and perhaps a bad Arcane Intellect just means you're going to have very, very clunky turns. Most likely he's going to have to coin here as well. But,
coin ping into Mad Scientist, I guess.
Exactly. In terms of the matchup, I feel like Freeze Mage still has the edge, but the Zoolock, with its current flavor, especially the one that Ecop is running, has made like such a big run to catch up that it's almost even, I think.
Almost even, wow. I would definitely say Freeze Mage is favored, but to call it 50-50 is very ambitious.
I think like maybe 60-40.
Okay.
That's a pretty big whiff, though, if you look at... Well, I mean, he got the Iron Beak Owl, which very often can be crucial, where you just negate the Mad Scientist, but usually you want to keep those for Doomsayers, in which case that Knife Juggler dying and summoning a secret for your opponent is just horrible. And that hand that looked okay is only looking a tiny bit more clunky. But
yeah,
it's all about that...
okay.
It's all about that Void Caller not messing up your plans, basically.
Just draw a second Void Caller. Makes everything easier.
Very important to trade first, as you're probably playing Arcane Intellect here, and you don't want to Arcane Intellect into
double ice barrier. I've seen that happen before too.
Was it Forsen?
It wasn't Forsen. Just drew it off the top, but I've seen like players rush too much and then accidentally draw into something that's supposed to be drawn from the Mad Scientist instead of the actual card. So
the thing is, like, if that actually happened, if you would Arcane Intellect into your 2 remaining secrets, it would be a very educational experience. I don't think you will ever
do it again.
Educational.
Yeah.
Did you get nominated for that educational stream, Crip?
I don't think so. Not this time.
No, Crip gets nominated for
the other ones.
All the other ones, okay.
Most of the ones. Yeah. I don't educate people.
Well, educating us in the way of the zoo right now.
I don't want to say anything.
You don't feel educated right now, Frodan? Crip is not dropping enough education
actually,
on you.
I do. I actually have recently enjoyed Crip's recent review on the cards. I think.
Yeah.
I know some people really like, Brian Kibler and Strife Crow and Raynad, but I also enjoy listening to Crips.
Well, in fact, I don't really do card reviews. I take Crips stuff and then I repeat it.
Wow.
And just one more to the Crips circle jerk. I think it's always very impressive to hear him talk about it because he's also giving initial thoughts in like 5 seconds versus some people have to read like the entire card list and then like think for 15 hours and then.
Yeah.
Anyways,
back to the
Point
game.
game.
What is Hearthstone? All right.
Well, in this game, it seems like Ecop
Crypty
just
like
having
that.
another super clunky hand here. Because, like, it's again the Doomguard Mal'Ganis Lotheb hand, which means you have to play Lotheb, which means you're going to be really upset. That's really everything.
That's a
second
crazy
void call.
pickup for Ecop.
It is.
Did we say crazy pickup? Because, I mean, it kind of sounds the same.
Peacock? What?
Yeah.
This
Oh,
would
you
be
said
the least
Peacock.
effective board clear ever from a Freeze Mage. Like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
what would you do here? You get, like, in the worst case, you get 2 1/1s, a 7/9, and a 9/7.
Oh, this is hell. This would be hell.
Actually, if you do the Doomsayer Frost Nova play, you might improve the board of your opponent.
But you could also get a second board wipe or get the initiative on clearing it, right? Because like the opponent will not be able to.
Well, this is the best part. Like, if you're Ecop, you even silence the Doomsayer.
Yeah, Ecop's got like the god hand. That second
not.
void caller was crazy.
Would you even tap if you played Doomsayer? Because then you risk the chance of drawing another demon that you don't.
No, never.
I think you could consider it, because if you get an egg, it's even more funny.
This is like Force's board wipe
Yes.
against I forget
Just
who.
draw
that
2
was.
eggs. Tap and drop 2.
Yeah.
Is that too many minions? No. It's not.
Is that an egg? No, it's not. Oh, crapola.
That's a demon. You drop that.
What? No. No.
He wants him to flame strike next turn, right? So then
Yeah, he wants to force the flame strike to then
Yeah.
get all these demons after there's nothing else left. Because if you let the demons come out, then Dice might just blizzard into flame strike into some other AoE, and then you're kind of losing it. So
But he does give up the owl though. That's another thing too. He could have kept the owl for a second guarantee shutdown of a Doomsayer, or unfreeze a minion, and then push for damage if he needs to. So he does give up flexibility by doing this.
oh, that's
Wow.
one turn away. One turn away there for Thice with the blizzard.
Huh.
It's gonna be face tanking a little bit too much damage for his taste, I'm sure. Now, what do you
Yes.
do in this position? This is so awkward.
It seems like you have to Blizzard because it's so much damage, but how do you start to win the game if you do that? I think you might just have to take a round of damage. Just like ping the Owl and maybe Frostbolt like the Lotheb.
Yeah, you put it in blizzard range, and then you go for the Doomsayer blizzard play. I mean, in this case, it wouldn't do much because the spiders would spawn, and the Doomguard plus the spiders might be enough. I mean, everything's gonna backfire for Thice, I feel, unless he picks up another blizzard or a flame strike. Things are going to escalate to the point of no return. It's pretty rough.
The thing is, like, Blizzard next turn doesn't even guarantee his safety because of what comes out with the Void Caller and whatnot. In this case,
Yeah.
Void Caller is going to pull out one of the Doom Guards.
That's still
He ice
fine, I
dances
guess.
it, Just keeps it.
Oh, Dr. Boom.
God.
Okay, Ecop drew like a god, right? I'm not insane. This was...
Not enough spots even.
Yeah, it's only one boom bot. Oh my
Yeah.
What's
god.
the point?
Yeah,
the
why would you...
inefficiency's crazy.
Dr. Boom is bad. It only has one boom bot.
Dr. Boom is bad.
Yeah. Like, who
Yeah.
would even play Dr. Boom if it only gave one boom bot? There's way better 7 mana 7/7s to play in the game.
Yeah. Well, I like the new 7/8, right?
The War Golem with a helmet.
Yeah, that one.
God.
Oh, that really
You
close.
trolls.
Oh.
Wow, he even plays around Cone of Cold by doing this. Pretty clever.
Actually, now there's a chance that Thice can take the game, right?
Yes.
That Alex Straza changes everything.
Right, but
You don't seem to believe Frodan.
he doesn't have enough. He needs to draw more damage.
No, he
And-
doesn't. He really doesn't. He plays the Antonitus and Ice Lances the Doctor Boom. It prevents lethal this turn, and then he can
Exactly.
Alice Raza, so Ice Block prevents that one.
Then he
And then
wins.
his opponent is on 15, so if Mal'Ganis can't come down, and honestly, it's possible that it won't. I guess maybe, but yeah,
Crip is very hopeful. I guess in this case, there's really very little that Dice can do. Oh, he's gonna opt to play it a bit
I'm
slower
actually
to the
surprised about
Archmage.
that.
He wants to play the Archmage next turn because the Doomsayer is effectively acting as a board clear in and of itself anyway. So
I mean, you're correct, Crip, in the vacuum of things, but then there's also things like Mal'Ganis that throws a weird mix into stuff. What I do like though about the situation is that he's an owl. He already used a Lotheb, so it becomes much weaker. But here he's gonna drop Mal'Ganis.
and Miggy perfectly
He does,
fine.
he can kill,
Right?
yeah, he can kill a Doomsayer. His opponent has shown that he can't do AoE onto the board, so this might be okay.
Dice might think this is just an insane hand. He's still not out of it. Like with a Blizzard top deck, a Flame Strike, back-to-back Flame Strike
just-
might also cut it. But
here's what I don't like about Theis's play. Like with this play, he still loses against Mal'Ganis. But if your opponent didn't have Mal'Ganis, this doesn't work, and the other play wins you the game guaranteed.
True,
Right.
True that.
yeah, that's what I think. I thought he would do because I thought it was like the most obvious game-winning play. But maybe he assumes his opponent has Mal'Ganis based on previous plays because that card's been in his hand since the turn one basically.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe
Can you
you're really
Alistraza your opponent if he has Mal'Ganis up? Probably not.
well, it's not damage, right?
It's like weird damage.
It's like target stuff.
Yeah.
You
So
can't
you
even
can-
target the opponent.
An
even
immune
if,
target.
I wonder if you try to play Alistraza, if it just lets you play and it automatically plays it on yourself then.
Oh my god,
Oh, that'd be funny.
that would be hell.
I wouldn't assume so.
I hope not.
Science!
That would really suck for like co-op.
Crip wants to see somebody be miserable at the end of this experiment.
I'm really curious, because I don't know, I've never been in a situation to Alistraza an immune opponent. I've never seen that before.
I would
So-
assume not because, like, let's just say hypothetically the Warlock had Ice Block. You can't do anything to it, not even Fireball it.
But could you Alex him? Could you heal him up?
Yeah, I don't think you can.
He's gonna kill Mal'Ganis with a double Ice Lance,
Yep.
and now that's gonna put him like he's gonna be able to Alex offensively if he wants to, and then maybe Archmage Ice Block. But he's gonna be popped by then, so
Yeah, I mean, right now you're just always playing catch up against the deck that wins more. So it feels like there is no win condition anymore. I would have liked to see the systematic play that loses to Mal'Ganis anyway, but I guess this makes things a bit more interesting, a bit more drawn out.
Possibilities.
Yeah, this is 15 damage on board.
Yeah, it's
both
already- he's
Ice
already
Bears have
popped.
exhausted, so he pops it. He can have 2 additional damage sources from the hand. He has Knife Juggler Implosion as well as Doom Guard. So those types of things challenge the board inherently.
yeah. And it's also forcing Thighs to play the Ice Block no matter what. Like, even if he picks up a freeze here, he has to play the Ice Block. So he can't go like Archmage Frost Nova because it's not gonna win most of the time at least.
Okay, there's no reason to play anything unless he really wants to kill the Loot Hoarder. But I don't really feel like there's a strong need to. Usually you can
No.
do that if you're afraid of dying to direct damage of some sort, but there's just no possible way.
You really don't want to play stuff because if you have 7 creatures as a Zoolock and you get Frost Nova'd, you often can't do 1 damage.
Ooh.
He's
Well-
gonna try it. He's gonna try.
His best hope to potentially climb back would be if this Flame Strike cleared the board and his opponent had nothing, and then he
Yeah.
can out-Straza himself, but that's super optimistic.
Well, what about Archmage Antonitus Ice Block? You kill the Lotheb, and then you Alex yourself. I mean, you're still dead. I know this from
Probably
the board.
the play, but yeah, it's one of those things where
He has to try Flame Strike at least, right?
yeah, like I think he's gonna go for the 0.5% chance instead of like the 1% chance. Because if you do that play, the
Yeah.
Ice Block, the Antonites, you're just never gonna win.
Ice Lance. Oh, wow, that's cute. You could kill that Doomguard
Yeah.
and freeze the other
Yeah,
one.
go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, He doesn't want to keep his...
So he's gonna Alex Straza Ice Lance next turn. Then.
Yeah, he kind of has to.
Well, this game is going on about 5 minutes longer than we thought, but
It's been great.
The writing's on the wall here.
Yeah, I'd like to see the Doomsayer kill, because if he gets full frozen, the Knife Juggler has a much better chance of finishing the game.
Yep. Do you think any of the TGT cards stick out to you in terms of like maybe this should go into Freeze Mage? That can help it against stuff like this, like scenarios like this. Or...
Well, what are the 2 damage ping? I wonder if it's actually a good fit, just because it takes care of so much of the mid game.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
Get like a revised list maybe, because that card alone is worth playing on.
What about Flame Lance? You have to worry about giant Rag.
Yeah, like Wrathguard Zoo comes out, you Pyroblast them in the face and kill the minion. Playing with that Wrathguard for value.
I don't know. Maybe everyone's playing Ragnaros.
Yeah, maybe it's not over actually just yet, because he doesn't have lethal right now, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah.
And the heal bot with the ping on the Doomguard.
Right.
No, there is no lethal here.
It's still not quite completely over.
There would there be lethal with an unlimited board? No. Yes.
Yeah, infinite board you could probably pull it off.
Yeah. It would be Juggler, Imp King Boss, Implosion, Power Overwhelm, everything face.
Yeah, and everything goes face. You'd have like, you need like 2 more slots, I think.
What you do is
Go ahead.
Implosion, put Imp King Boss to get infinite board, right? So you can get more juggles.
Damn, that's deep.
Oh,
he's hoping he's killing. Yeah, he is. I was like, what if it doesn't work?
Perfect result.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess.
Could've, should've played the M-Gang boss first, but in this case it won't matter. What about a Blizzard here? That would be crazy, right?
Frost
Nova does give him another turn.
Oh, he actually has the heal bot. That's the card.
It's not over. It's not over.
It's actually not over.
Get Frost Nova here, yeah.
Oh man, that would be nuts.
No.
Yep, dead on board, even with the heal bot.
If he got Antonia's Frost Nova, and then like got one more way to freeze or something like that.
Like a Blizzard maybe.
That would have been game. Well, so it wasn't quite over for Thais. So going back over that game, I'd like to know what would have happened if Thais went for the aggressive line of play that we spotted sometime on the, I think, turn 8 or so, before he went for the Alex. I don't know. I'd have to look at this again. But right now, Paladin is racing ahead
because of Mal'Ganis. I mean, the aggressive line of play directly loses to Mal'Ganis because you go all in, assuming your opponent can't prevent your face damage. So I mean, he would have lost that way for sure. But if his opponent didn't have exactly Mal'Ganis, he would have won that way for sure. So it's pretty interesting to see when those calls are made and when they're not. But as far as the overall match is concerned, yeah,
Cloud9.
If Strifethrow can do it, this is 6 straight wins yet again after a 2-game lead.
Oof. Well, I have to assume that Life Coach's Warrior comes out here, and we'll start from there. At least it's a favored matchup. The difference being that when Tempo Storm was in this position, 2 of the members were benched. So it was forced into Shaman versus the Zoo. In this case, Strifethrow has Paladin, and there's a couple of matchups the Paladin's not very good at. In fact, if it's a mid-range Paladin, there's 3 matchups that it's not very good against.
If it's any Paladin, it's always bad against Grim Patron Warrior, so let's put in Life Coach. Let's put in the...
put in the face in Nihil,
Although it's starting to change a little bit of opinion. I think it's not Paladin favored, but I think people are climbing... They're putting higher percentages into this matchup. They're climbing high on ladder using mid-range Paladin. I was talking to Reyna a little bit, and he was saying that he felt like Paladin was pretty good against patrons sometimes, especially if you put in some weapon hate, like Harrison Jones. And he was talking about this with Strifethrow. Strifethrow was agreeing with him. So if Strifethrow agrees with him, I'm inclined to okay, Reyna, maybe you're onto something. And maybe Strifethrow feels the same exact way, and that's why he's confident in bringing Paladin, because
that's interesting, really.
It's starting to get better matchup, and maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still hard to say. I mean, maybe
like-
it's like getting better, but it's like 45, 55. Still,
I think getting better against Patient is hitting the 40% mark. Like that's how getting better against Patient feels these days sometimes.
I think we're in a similar situation where I think the Paladin's probably bad against everything on Nihilum's side of the board, but
Yeah.
it
Maybe
still
that's
has
a
to lose 4 times, and that's very unlikely.
Right. Let's see. I'll do some math, even if it was unfavored. Let's go ahead and try. This.
I think it's like on average maybe 10% unfavored against every single matchup.
Okay. So yeah, we're back at the 13% mark for Nihilum.
Again, in the exact same situation we were earlier, right? So like
Yeah. So
like
if they
a
win
near
4
90%
games,
chance.
0.6 times, it's 13%.
Well, all right.
Sucks.
It's going to start with Freeze Mage.
and then he wins against Freeze Mage of all decks.
Oh, Healbot.
Yeah, it is a mid-range Paladin deck.
That's not a bad card to have against Freeze Mage.
No, it's
Healbot
not.
is really good. Owl's good. In fact, this
This
just
entire hand's
toss back-
good, right?
You can toss back Zombie Chow. It's a useless card. Just hope you never draw it.
Would you? Because like, you can whittle
Yeah.
away at that ice barrier and kill the mad scientist.
But like, if you don't, yeah, I guess you're right. But it's one of those things where like Zombie Chow, if for some reason it survives, and then for example, the Acolyte in the hand, it doesn't even challenge it 1-for-1. It heals him back.
I don't know. I'm
It's-
feeling like I'd rather get Zombie Chow into a mad scientist than my juggler.
I think
just
both
hope
of you guys are actually correct here.
That
Zombie
can't be
Chow,
right.
yeah, it's true because Zombie Chow is a bad card, but if you apply no pressure to the Freeze Mage, you'll lose 100% of the time. So you have to balance out like sacrificing cards that do nothing just to keep the mage busy, so he
Yeah.
doesn't develop that ideal situations. Like if you have enough pressure and you have heals, you often can beat a Freeze Mage. But if you're too slow to do that, the Freeze Mage just, I mean, with 1 tick of Emperor, I think you have 34 damage, 32 damage. So
With
I
a
mean,
good hand.
yeah, Paladins don't have armor, so if you're slow enough, you're going to lose 100%.
That's true. But they also have Lotheb in the deck. We saw it's in the hand now, so that
Which is
could be
good.
either you play it before turn 8 or you play it when they're trying to lethal you. Those are the 2 windows that you can play Lotheb.
That'd be very early of a Doomsayer from Tice if he decides to go for it. To the point where I wouldn't be surprised to see Strive Pro. I mean, the thing is, you can't ignore it, right? Because then you lose the board, and then the Mage gets the Acolyte down, and then you're in a bad spot.
Zombie Chow got some value.
The
Oh,
reason I like the Doomsayer is because if you see Zombie Chow, you know the deck is probably playing Equality, and the
Mhm.
deck is playing Silence anyway. So I think between Silence and Equality, you can't really reliably expect to keep your Doomsayer.
Yeah. You try to get as many, like as few draws from the Paladin as possible before you start throwing stuff out. So the faster you get the Doomsayer off, the better, I guess.
Usually you don't want to Acolyte on turn 3, but because you have so much card draw, it's not really that bad if it just dies to a True Silver hit. At least it takes a True Silver hit.
Yep, that's right. You still have Arcane Intellect, and then an Acolyte can draw 2 cards guaranteed by pinging it.
The Doomsayer acts as like a buffer for all those knife hits, which is funny to me. But kind of amusing that, like, sometimes we say Doomsayer stance is useless, but the Boom Boss can very often tank the hit.
No, it's pretty clutch against Dr. Boom, Ragnaros.
Yeah.
The Knife Juggles.
All right.
I would assume that it's a true silver attack because if this is the
Yeah.
only card draw mechanism of Freeze Mage, you can shut it down very effectively.
That's all they've got. You can probably win from there.
I don't know. I guess it's because Knife Juggler gets less effective as the mana crystals go up, so this is also an opportunity for Strive Crow to...
You make a great point because once you get to Blizzard turn, that's basically game, and that juggle is godlike. What on earth?
Headshot.
Yeah, that's crazy. He needed exactly that juggle.
Strive Crow's practicing for Overwatch, man. Getting his...
You know what? That game
what
is...
have you been doing, Nocturne?
Yeah. I've been hacking into the beta. Oh, wait.
Hacking into the beta. It's so annoying they put it into the launcher, too.
I know. Yeah, Crip was talking to me about this last time. He logged on, he's like,
that's
oh,
so troll.
Overwatch is here.
Whoa!
I knew
can
those
shoot
Blizzard
people.
connections would pay off one day. Nope.
Never mind that.
No.
Well, that's actually a lot of pressure coming out. I like that play from Strife Crow.
Yeah, I think it's a great play.
It's so tempting because you have 2 choose over champions in hand. It's like, well, I got to get this out eventually, right? 16 damage. But he goes for a normally counterintuitive play, and now these jugglers get some time.
So
Quality
would
time.
you see just playing dudes nonstop in order not to waste anything?
Oh,
Face
Well-
face.
it's okay.
But the thing is with like there is some repercussions from playing this this blood mage. I mean, if you're Strife Crow and you see that, you know you cannot die from full HP anymore.
Yeah. There's no OTK left, even if with like 2 Emperor Ticks. You're gonna take a whole lot of damage, but unless Archmage comes in and feeds the
Actually,
mage the fireball.
With 2 Emperor ticks, there is still OTK because you could create 5 fireballs with.
Yeah, with infinite
Nice.
Archmage, yeah.
But with 1 Emperor tick, there is no way to do 30 damage anymore.
I think Strife Crow also calculated the fact that assuming his opponent can't deal with the knife jugglers, he can Loatheb and deny a blizzard. So he has 3 turns, and that's 18 damage with knife jugglers at least, and that's not even counting the what's it called? The juggles itself.
The juggles, yeah, the knives that go out.
So I mean, you could go for a quartermaster here, which is a conventional play, but I feel like if there's a time for Strife Crow to just be like, okay, this is the line that I took, dropping Loatheb here would make sense to me based off of the way he's been trying to use his knife jugglers to get a lot of mileage.
I like that thought.
You have to kill the Acolyte first, though, because otherwise the mage gets card draw from the
think
juggles.
You can even consider killing the mad scientist, but it's alright, I guess. You have to keep in mind, like, if you get only 1 juggle into the mad scientist, I don't think you'd actually use your 1/1 anyway, because you want to save it for the quartermaster.
Now the question, do I lose the zombie chow to the 2/2, or do I lose my juggler to the ping instead of zombie chow? I think either way, you might as well just kill it now.
I think
and keep your second juggler. Because you're going to heal him up anyway.
Right. It's still 2 damage, though.
Yeah.
You can't
Because
big
True Silver is like, what, 16 damage total between those 2 charges? That doesn't account for consex.
Whoa.
Fireball.
You have children
a lot
watching,
of
not
damage.
just be careful.
Sorry, what? Oh, sorry. I wasn't talking about prisoners.
What?
So he has to kill off these knife jugglers for sure. There's actually just so many targets he wants to kill off. That Loatheb complicates things. The secrets coming out here is pretty huge. Ice
That's a good
barrier is
one.
very nice.
That's probably better than block.
He has a second ice barrier in hand, so the second scientist will guarantee ice block, which I think he has to push out, and he can kill off the second juggler.
What to do? What to do?
That might be the key to be able to turn this game around.
Yeah, and I think he's got the tools that he needs to do just that, honestly. Like,
to
Loatheb was a good tempo tool, but...
But at the same time, if you think about it, every barrier is worth the same as a True Silver champion. So we can just kind of count down as many. So basically, the limitation is how many times this Loatheb can attack.
Yeah, she's the big source of damage. This Shredder is also
That's
pretty
a nice
sweet.
card.
That's a nice card to find.
It lets you play a dude as well, which is very nice. Eventually, the dudes will
Take over the world.
union up and rile up.
You know,
They'll grow arms, is what you're saying.
they'll hit the gym. Lawyer up.
Quartermaster.
Well, Zombie Chow again in a position where it could easily pick off the scientist, make a flame strike not as high value.
Let me.
I mean, I
I'd
think
be
it's
okay
that
with
might be a
that.
good play, yeah.
Think about how much value the zombie chat has gotten.
Yeah, it's
like-
10 damage.
5.
And then a Pyroblast, -5.
Excuse me.
Well, it restored 5 health too, so it's not
exactly.
exactly Pyroblast.
It was like a
But
fire.
also-
It was like a fireball, really.
It was like
it
a
has the
Starfall.
Doomseer too.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah, good point.
All right.
The unspoken hero, the unsung hero of the game was the Zombie Chow from turn
Oh,
1.
Colento just got a Gromash Hell Screen. That's crazy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Congrats.
I saw that. Where did he get the pack?
He's opening packs from.
Yeah,
Maybe he missed.
Oh, wait. What he's doing is he played Tavern Brawl to test the new cards.
but there's no packs this week, right?
He got the pack. No, you get a pack.
Oh, do you? I didn't get
I
one.
wonder.
Did
well, Blizzard only gives packs to people they like. So.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry, Noxious.
no, that's fine. I didn't get the little invitation for the little horn thing that they sent to everyone. It's fine.
All right. Well, I think this game is moving at such a slow pace. You might even be able to save your Emperor.
Or yeah, I guess he is not willing to do just that. There's a lot of damage though coming up from Strike Pro. So.
Yeah, the.
Ooh. Okay.
That is not a good card, actually. If
get
the
that
second
Doomsayer.
Yeah, the second Doomsayer is drawn.
What's funny
It can
is that
be
there's a
obsessive.
silence to Doomsayer, so there's always a chance of stealing.
Which is actually good for Strife Crow.
right.
You can always fireball your silenced Doomsayer, play Doomsayer, then fireball Sylvanas. Oh man, the plays. Or throws.
Too many.
Or
Wait,
throws.
look
Yeah,
at
I was
it.
gonna say it depends how you look at it, really. But this is a great quartermaster turn, honestly. Like, it's not gonna get better.
Yeah. And you wanna dunk the 3/3s because those easily die to Flame Strike, while the Loatheb will clock in 5 damage. Whatever comes out of the Shredder will clock in, well, maybe
6, because it's Appomatic, right?
not. Or Pagel.
That's fine. You can draw into those, Avenging Wrath.
Or Lore Walker Joe. They can load up on those Frost Novas.
Oh yes, get all the burn. Get all the burn.
Doomsayer. Keep that Doomsayer in place, man. Well, I guess just draw first because you're going to be blizzarding, right?
It
Yeah,
looks like a
that's a-
pretty easy matchup from Dice's perspective, because even
I
though
think-
he looks like he's under pressure, he's super well off right now.
I think there's some reason to just Frost Nova here.
Yeah, you can Ice Barrier on the back of it if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can Frost Nova Ice Barrier. I like Blizzard being dumped because it's more expensive. Frost Nova gives you more flexibility. For example, you can even Blizzard and then next turn ping the Shredder. So that way the Frost
Yeah.
Nova is also effective and you can clear off with another Flame Strike. It varies a lot.
I agree with you in the general sense, but I think when you have 2 Frost Novas, you're certainly like gonna favor just playing one of them.
Sure.
Like if you had Blizzard versus Frost Nova, I think you're right. But if you had Blizzard versus 2 Frost Novas, you just want to play more stuff and have Blizzard effectively do damage.
Yep, that's a good point.
I wonder.
Okay,
now
well,
it's,
Consecration is sort of helpful as you generally want to have direct damage from the hand if you're going to be popping the ice block, but
It's not a lot, maybe right now. He needs to put his opponent in range at least for it to be useful. The Zombie Chow is never getting played.
Well, never say never, but I would definitely lean towards very
Never.
seldom.
Yeah, very very seldom. You're right.
Move quickly.
I learned that from Justin Bieber, right?
Is that a new song that came out
A
recently?
new song. Oh my god, it's like the oldest song I think.
Listen, you
I'm-
keep your Canadian
He's an
music
old school fan.
Of
away
course,
from
that
my
that's
pure
exa-
American ears.
Yeah,
God.
he's Canadian.
ATLC is an American-based competition.
I didn't even know Justin Bieber was Canadian. Oh my god,
Keep your national treasures away from us.
national
All right, Noxious,
treasures.
No one
Let's
believes
do
you
this.
anymore.
Oh my god, I have been disgraced.
Yeah, that's right. We all know what's in the bottom of that shelf. A whole collection of secrets.
Yes, that's right. I'm secretly a
Very
fan of Bieber.
purposeful camera angles.
Please don't go there.
Can you just burn him? I don't think so.
There's not enough damage, I was looking at that
10,
exact
is there
scenario.
not?
You could kill him. The thing is, if he
20
heals just a little bit with the True Silvers, then you're kind of out of it.
Well, what would you do? You would do Frostbolt, Ice Lance, Double Fireball, which is 15 plus 4, it's 19, and then next turn you can Pyroblast. It's
Yeah.
not good enough.
Yeah, and he has to treat over heals.
No, you
Right.
won't, because you'd be frozen.
Oh.
Yeah, you'd freeze first and then you'd highlight. You're right.
Crip with the clutch calls. I guess you could go Blizzard Ping, and then next turn you go for that play. If he has a lay on hands, then you've wasted your entire game.
What if you ping your own Doomsayer here? Replace? No.
Okay, so what is the reasoning behind that?
You know he has Sylvanas, and you know
Okay.
you'll drop Doomsayer.
Oh, that's a great card for Strife Crow. If anything ever becomes dangerous.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
What if there's a Doomsayer in that Shredder?
Ooh.
That changes the game entirely.
It does.
Let me.
What could he be looking? What could help Strife Crow from that that Shredder? Like a really big help. You know, think
Armor
Leopard Gnome
Smith?
style. Okay.
Yeah, Armor Smith is quite nice.
Armor Smith is actually really sick. This game's like 4 or 5
Well, Sylvanas is coming down.
Time for games.
Yeah.
Yeah, no reason not to, I guess, at this point. Since if you lose your board, then so be it. But
Yeah.
oh, that's a decent, to say the least, top deck. Do you
It
just
is
Frost Nova
decent.
ping though? You kind of have to, right? You ping the Shredder, then you Nova.
Yes, I believe you do that. Plus, if you get a Doomsayer, you're gonna jump out of your seat. Dice gonna need a new chair after that one.
I'd like to see it happen though. It's happened twice so far in the ATLC. One where the patron lost his entire board, so that was a pretty good sight.
Yeah, I'd like to see that as well. I'm not sure if it's that desperate, but I think it's a really solid.
I think it's actually the play anyway, and if
Yeah, I
Doomsayer
think
comes
it's
out, then you're happy. So
Wonder.
You could
And
also
it
be like a
actually-
sheep. If you get a sheep, you can just flame strike.
yeah, or even Unstable Ghoul. I was gonna say like those two are pretty well.
troll,
Time runs out on me.
mad science.
No, that's an undead.
The thing is, you kind of do want to flame strike here,
Yeah,
and
there's
the
too much-
reason is it's just too clunky. Otherwise,
So you just freeze Sylvanas to prevent the damage in like intake.
yeah,
enough
and
damage to
one-
finish the
one
game if he
health
draws out, like,
Sylvanas
draws.
is a real liability sometimes.
I was gonna say Iron Beak Owl would actually pop the block. That'd be crazy.
You use one owl.
Yeah,
I'm not
already.
sure if it's the second one. I think this might be the last turn Tice can draw Alex draws and have a chance to win.
Or even Archmage, right?
Actually, Archmage Frost no, because he pops the ice block still, right?
Yeah, with the weapon, you're right. Well, then you replay Ice Block, right?
Okay, well we get to find
So
out.
he pops the block, and then you play Ice Block with like double Fireball to his face that costs 4, and then you go double
Yeah, you're right.
Fireball,
You're right.
Frostbolt.
Okay.
It's all about.
I think this is a winning situation, actually. I think Tice probably has this game.
Then again, that heal bot, man, that heal bot's big.
Yeah, Healbot feels like it'd be pretty.
Oh,
significant.
the
that could be
Belcher's
pretty
also
big,
big.
too. Yeah, that stops damage.
Good
Then
enough.
you're not gonna have Antonidas next turn.
So wait, do you kill the Doomsayer to force him to give you the Archmage in case he decides to clear?
Nah, you just go for the spot pop.
Okay.
You only do that if there's no other play and you had guaranteed damage, but he needs to like force him to have the second ice block.
No, obviously it's a silly play. Ooh,
And
that's ramping up pretty fast.
So there's enough damage to win the game for sure. It's just does he have time now?
you know what the best thing is? If he got a Doomsayer, the best play would have been to fireball his own Antonidas and then ping off Sylvanas. And then, yeah.
You're right to actually give him the Doomsayer.
So 2 fireballs is 12, 15 damage this turn. Next turn he has another 15. But then the heal bot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The heal bot limitation.
Well, you could always find. What could you find? That
Doomsayer.
Shredder could. Yeah.
Doomsayer. He has no weapons left, so if the Shredder ends up being terrible, then it's okay.
Oh! Why don't you Peacekeeper the Doomsayer and kill it?
And
with
then kill it
Sylvanas?
with Sylvanas.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's
the
a
play.
great.
Because one of the only ways you lose this game, there's another Doomsayer left. One of the only ways you lose is if you get your board like fully cleared by a Doomsayer ping. That is actually the best play, but that is so hard to see.
Because it's
No,
not
Frodan found it
intuitive
in
at
1
all.
second.
It's the one time buffing the attack of a minion with a Peacekeeper is the perfect play.
Well, first we want to pop the ice block, right? That's the priority. And then you have to drop heal Bob.
Yep.
Move quickly.
I think he's gonna do it, man. He has to be
He's a
seeing it.
god!
He has to be seeing it.
Do it! 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 Do it!
No!
No!
Oh, it's still a good play, right?
Well, he stole the Silence Doomsayer.
I wonder if he realizes that he could still. I don't think it matters for him because ultimately he's still.
No,
wasting.
it actually doesn't matter. The outcome is still the same, but
Yeah. Wait, is it? Has he lost if he just uses removal on these minions? A
now
frost
it's
bolt on
Doomsayer.
something.
Now it's Prey. It's a Doomsayer time, right?
Is it?
Oh man, that
Wait,
could be
hold
so
on.
insane.
3, 5.
No, wait. Healbot
Six,
is...
Healbot ping frostbolt.
Is enough. No, it's not. It's 1 over. No,
Yeah,
he's still dead. Healbot ping Frostbolt is still dead.
Well, Doomsayer boys.
Yeah,
I guess you have no choice. What else are you gonna do?
you have no choice. But if there is a Doomsayer, Tice is probably going to win on the
Yeah,
flip side.
no, probably. On the upside, I guess that's happening.
So Tice has a 1
Like
point.
a sheep could work too, right?
Yeah, sheep.
A sheep could work too.
It's out on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's sheep or Doomsayer.
Oh.
Oh man, I saw a mech.
Yeah,
and I
I saw
saw-
something glow. Kind of like I thought it was a sign telling
Yeah.
me.
All right, guys. Well, today we just witnessed one team get a lead, 2 points on the board, and then have the other team sweep them 6 wins in a row.
Twice.
Yeah.
Twice.
Oh, Trefco's happy.
I won the most impossible matchup ever. This is good. That's
And also,
Trefco may have
Frodan
realized.
outplayed Strifegro. Can we get a
That's
recognition
right.
here? Can we give this man a trophy?
yeah, can we give this caster a non-sapping token so he's never sapped ever again?
That's right. That's my reward.
Get out of sap free card. There
Yeah.
we go.
Soon enough you're gonna get mulched, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That
All
does
right.
it. The way Cloud9 has won also puts them in second place decisively, and Nihilum and Tempest Storm guaranteed at least top 5. We have one more match that'll be rather meaningful. It'll be Archon and the Foursome boys determining who is going to take that spot, and more importantly, who is going to be dropping to 6th. Because 6th will have to play one more match against 7th, and that just makes your road that much more difficult.
Yeah. It's gonna be the redemption, if I'm not mistaken. And there's gonna be a satellite afterwards to get to the grand finals, possibly. Oh, apparently Value Town is confirmed being first in phase 1, so apparently they will be going onwards to the next phase.
Congrats. That means they will be joining Cloud9 in the live finale. So all of the fans of Cloud9 and Value Town rejoice. They'll be going to Texas. I think that's a pretty cool opportunity for guys like Colento to once again make a trip to the U.S., but also ECOP. I haven't actually seen ECOP in a U.S.-based competition, so that'll be an awesome opportunity.
Really? That's interesting. Yeah, I think you're right.
And
Should
this
be a lot of
also
fun.
means that we're done for the day. We have 2 matches again tomorrow, so make sure you guys check everything out at teamarchon.com. You can go to the league section there. Do you guys have any final words before we wrap up the day here?
I mean, my final words was said. I couldn't be happier. We saw 2 teams have their souls absolutely crushed in the most devastating way in a 6 consecutive win sweep. Well, it sucks to be that team, but I think for entertainment value,
It's pretty high today.
the ATLC has delivered. So
Yeah, I'm still waiting on Celestial to win a match tomorrow. Like that's my hope. Like that's what I'm rooting for. I want Celestial to just give somebody a loss on the record, just because, right?
They can play the
Somebody
spoiler.
is
They can play the
Archon.
spoiler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Team Archon will be playing them in the final week. So
They can
maybe.
shut down Archon pretty hard, and if Liquid also shuts down Foursome boys, they also jump into the discussion of being able to go into 5th place. So there's still a lot of possibilities depending on how the series ends up panning out. That's why you guys want to tune in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific here on Amaz's channel. Before we go, we want to also give one final shout out to our sponsors. So big thank you to Alpha Draft. If you want to go ahead and play some fantasy ATLC, just head on over to alphadraft.com and sign up. There's lots of cash being given away. And again, you're just watching Hearthstone, so why not make some money? Also, big shout out to Amazon App Store. We're giving away 50% off for 40-pack giveaways. It's going to be extremely relevant coming up in the next few days, considering that TGT is on the verge of being released. It's coming out August 24th, which again, here on the ATLC, we'll be playing the patch live with all the cards being relevant. It's going to be a fun time. Thank you so much for watching. From
Crazy
Brandman,
moment.
Frick, Noxious. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.